I want to talk to you about my friend Charlie Crawford. He's a 10-time NFR qualifier.
Charlie Crawford, time to just shake it out and win. Got it on him fast, set
there
up.
We are.
Here's a day
nice
money
run.
lead. You betcha 3-8.
That's an absolute perfect run. Timing was perfect from the time the first swing is up. He's got the control. Charlie made it happen by being timed up with his horse with the steer, and being able to not just rope, but to pick that steer's head up without changing the momentum for the heeler at all.
We know his beautiful wife, Jackie, all three of their beautiful children, the founder of the Liberty and Loyalty Foundation, which this year will exceed $1 million raised for military and first responders. I've said it 1,000 times. Charlie, it's time to rope, nod and ride, whip and spur. I want to welcome you to the Charlie Crawford Podcast. Let's ride.
Hello, everybody. Today we have Greg Coker on the podcast. Not your call sign, but your nickname, Gravy.
Gravy.
Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And Army Veteran Helicopter, Special Ops, 160 Regiment, and Nightstalker. Is that somewhat pretty close?
Yes, sir. Spot on.
Oh, man.
Spot
I tell you
on.
what.
Not bad for a roper.
Not bad for a roper.
A team roper at that.
I loved your book.
Thank you.
I had it on Audible. I had it on where I could listen to it, and so it was on audiobook. But
good deal.
Death Waits in the Dark.
Yes, sir.
And the cool part was, Death Waits in the Dark. Mm-hmm. And the cool part is you did the audio.
Yes, sir, I did. Yeah, I got kind of corralled into doing that. I did not want to do it. I didn't think I had that good a voice, but all my buddies were like, Gravy, it's got to be you, man. It's got to be you.
And no one better to tell your story than you.
Yeah. And man, it was a beat down. It took me 7 days to read it. And you can only read about 3 hours a day. And then you're done. Your eyes start crossing. It was cathartic in a sense, just like writing the book. But, you know, there were good times to step away, and there were some pretty tough parts in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got through it and turned out well. And I decided when I was writing the book, it took me 15 years, and we can talk about this later, but I decided to donate 100% of all the proceeds that book brought in. We've sold over 10,000 copies. I have second edition now. I had it re-edited. It just needed some tuning up. Couple of GIs did the writing and editing, but we were excited and wanted to get it out. But we've donated over $106,000 to date to nonprofits that support veterans, first responders, and their families.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think your voice brings your kind of your country boy feel to it.
Yes,
you can feel just that it's you.
Yes, sir.
Especially, you know, the accent and the good old boy, but then also too was what I thought was so touching was I think also sometimes only you can talk about your faith.
You bet.
You know, I think it doesn't sound the same if it comes from somebody else, because I think that's something that people can feel.
Yes.
And that's something that I thought was real touching in your book was how much you were able to give your credit and a lot of your strength coming from Jesus Christ.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they were a big part of my life and in war and then after I retired. Yes, sir.
What I thought that, you know, it's an interesting topic because a lot of people don't like talking politics.
Sure.
I like talking politics. I don't know why a guy wouldn't, because I think that even the conversations of the opposite side are still worth bringing up. And
we're the end game of politics.
That's right.
We are.
Yeah.
The old man says go, we go.
Yeah. And I enjoy getting your guys' perspective because you guys are closer to it than we are. But I'd love for one to talk about what your feel is of this administration and also what your thoughts are on Pete Hegseth.
Yeah.
You know, I think that just the feel of where we're at, and I feel the strength coming back.
Yes, sir.
You know, the leadership that I see in Pete, just from the outside looking in. I'd love to have your perspective on what your feel of that is.
Me too. Yeah, thank God for our president, Donald Trump, and everyone he has working with him. And, you know, and I told everybody, hey, God's got this. Don't worry about it. He's going to put the right people in the right place at the right time. And he has. He's surrounded himself with eagles. You know, Ross Perot always used to tell me, he's like, Greg, surround yourself with eagles, not buzzards.
Mm-hmm.
I said, yes, sir.
They fly higher, huh?
They fly higher. But, yeah, we're we're in good shape right now, and my circle and our community, we're all looking forward to the future and how this country is going to get changed, and it's going to get changed back to where it should have been and should be, and the future's bright. And as far as his cabinet, again, he's put the right folks in the right places. I mean, I don't watch the news, but I hear about it. And yeah, people are doing good things, great things to protect our people of this country, our citizens, and making a change. Our SecDef, Mr. Pete Hegseth, I was a little on the fence when he first announced it. I was like, man, this guy's young. He served in combat. He'll get it, and he will surround himself with the great people that need to help him. Yeah, I think he's doing a good job. He's getting the Army, all the services back to where they need to be, back with the leadership, because under the other administrations, we lost 20 years of combat leadership, combat veterans. They couldn't see anything good in the Army where I came from, and they left. And with that, they took all this experience, all this leadership, and it was a bad situation for our military.
I was reading what the recruitment, like when they're recruiting, has the numbers since Pete's taken over.
It's off the chart.
That's awesome.
It's good. And they're raising the standards.
Yeah.
We're getting a smarter, faster, stronger soldier. I'm not too keen on all the AI and electronics. And I mean, we were old school. It's going to be that infantryman that takes and holds ground. And he's probably going to get picked up by a Huey helicopter in the future, because all this other stuff's going to go away. But that's my, look on it and thoughts on it. But no, we're headed in a really, really good place, and especially in the special operations community. I look at some of these kids when I visit these places. I call them kids, but I'm like, does your mom know you're a Delta Force commander? He looks 18, but he's not. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's good. It's good.
The last administration, I would say that if Creed was to get, to me, if the last administration would have kept on going, I think they would have had to probably start the draft, because I don't think anyone would willingly go.
I agree.
And it would have been one of them things to where if Creed would have got drafted, I would have just been completely devastated, because I just didn't feel like even us as Americans knew what we were fighting for.
Right.
Nothing felt right.
No.
And with what I feel like Pete has shown, just the way he's leading, when you watch him do his training, when he's out there with them, the pride and passion that it looks like, an integrity he's trying to do behind this job, it makes me think that would maybe serving be something that I would recommend for my son.
Yes.
Because I see that to where I feel like there is something that is important that was worth fighting for now.
You bet.
That I didn't feel during Obama or Biden.
No, it had been lost, so to speak. And yeah, people didn't have the pride or the patriotism that they do now with our new administration. So yeah, it's coming. We're still the baddest mofos on the planet. So,
amen, brother.
But I saw it, like Israel, you conscript. So at 18 years old, you go serve 2 years. And a lot of other countries do that also. So yeah, I was like, oh, please, God, can we please have President Trump get elected? Yeah.
Well, it felt like a godsend, and I really feel it when he dodged that bullet. I really felt like there was something that was larger than just humans that were, because even our pastors were talking about it. Pastors were actually talking about how important this election was.
Yes, sir.
And that's a touchy subject when you go to, doing a Sunday service and politics are on the agenda. And I get that. And he would even say, I know there's going to be some people leaving, but if we don't talk about this,
right,
the devil is in the darkness.
Yep. And
so if we don't talk about certain things, then light isn't shined on it, and we know where that leads to.
Yes,
and
sir.
So I enjoyed his service and he wasn't there politicking. He was just talking the difference between right and wrong. And before the election, we were talking about fasting and doing certain things to where there was power in it. And it was fascinating. It just had that feel in the fact of, man, this guy dodged a bullet
Yes, he
by
did.
just a...
Oh, the Holy Spirit was right there with him the whole time. God was watching over him. We know that, this is the path that he had chosen for him, and he was going to get this done regardless. He was going to have him turn at that last second.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a big wind gust to blow that bullet to the right, just to buzz.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he did. Yeah, my wife and I, Edie, we were watching it on TV, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God. She started crying. I started crying. Then I saw him move, and I'm like, praise God.
Mm-hmm.
Please, Secret Service, get on him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that was almost life-altering, in the fact of what this country could have been one inch or another.
Yes, sir. I actually have one of my Purple Hearts. I'm trying to get to him. I'm trying to get it in his hands. He earned it. He was shot as a commander-in-chief, and that's why we get the enemy marksmanship badge. But, yeah, I just talked to a fellow Friday, and he's going to try to make some contacts. And, yeah, I want to get him that Purple Heart. He earned it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then just, man, I love with what he's on track with right now, and peace through strength. And
yes, sir.
I don't think that there's anybody that I could see. And I think it'd be even hard for the other side to argue that this guy's not trying for peace. Not one time. I mean, now I think there's a difference between, in my opinion, is going to war or when he goes in for like when he did with Iran, where he went at night.
Yeah, we bombed them
and came back.
Yes,
like
sir.
To me, that's more strategic than it is these wars that last longer than they should.
Yes,
where
sir.
we're losing our.
We'll see more and more in that. Very, very focused
Strategic.
strikes that are strategic. And once we get the intel, and I mean, they're bad people, and they've been told, hey, you got to stop this. And the Israelis did it to them back in the 70s. Same type of mission. Sent in F-16s, hit their nuclear production site, and went home. So, yeah.
Yeah, a lot less people getting killed.
Yes, sir.
And that's, I think, it feels like that's what is on his heart. Not having fathers, moms, daughters, sons getting killed out there in wars that take longer than they should.
You bet.
It looks like he's in and out.
He's in and out.
I like it.
Yeah, too, and strategically, I mean, our Special Operations Forces, they're out there every night doing what they do. They sit on that fence and say, nobody's going to hurt you, not on my watch. So just keep those folks in your prayers. They're hunting. They're Syria, Mexico, South America. They're all over the world. So to keep these people from coming here and hurting us, and they do. They want to kill us.
Hello, everyone. I want to personally invite you to be a part of something bigger than rodeo. The Liberty and Loyalty Foundation is dedicated to supporting our military first responders and their families through life-changing Western experiences. Our biggest event of the year, the Hillwood Land and Cattle American Hero Celebration, happens this November, and we need sponsors to help us keep making an impact. Please contact us if you can help. Ropers, we have money added in every roping. Come enter the Open, the Military First Responder Pro Roping, our Ranch Rodeo, the Military First Responder Roping, which is open to all military first responders, current and former, November 7th through the 8th at NRS Arena in Decatur, Texas. Buy a table and attend our gala November 8th at the Decatur Convention Center, and then following day, head to Cowtown Coliseum for the Imus Ranch Quarter Horses NFR Showdown and Military First Responder Short Round, November 9th. It's patriotic, powerful, and full of grit. To get involved or give back, visit libertyandloyaltyfoundation.com today, because we may not know them all, but we do owe them all. God bless.
What is your take on how he's starting to clean up cities, like, say, the Capitol?
I'm all behind it. Yes,
Man,
sir.
that didn't take long either.
It did take what a day. It's like, uh-oh.
There's a lot of politicians going, okay, he just made this look way easier than we've been making it look, and which is what we all felt.
Yes, we
Every
did.
one of us is like, this is not a hard job to do.
No.
You go in there, you go kick ass, you clean it up, and then law and order.
Yep. Law and order
And
every
how
time.
we have lost that, and not only lost it, in my opinion, tolerated it.
Yes.
That's what's been really hard to watch. People have been getting killed. They've been getting raped. They've been getting mugged for this. And like I say, these are administrations that or politicians or whatever it is that I just don't understand the policies of continually keep letting that happen.
I don't understand their thought process. And, we have to have law and order in this country. We have to. And I talked to a couple folks that had called and asked me about it. And I said, no, we have to have law and order. We have a constitution, and that constitution protects us, the citizens, and our rights. And just imagine the people that live there that have to go through that day in, day out, walking scared, not letting their kids go.
Mm-hmm.
We don't live in fear. We did that. So, no, I support him 100%. And, anybody that pushes back, hey, send in whoever you need to send in, be it the National Guard, be it federal agencies, or whatever the case.
Yeah, I've seen some of the vehicles that are marked, and it says, protect the homeland.
Yes.
That hits.
Yes, sir. That sure does.
For me, there's some pride behind that, because when I read that, I'm like, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Hell yeah. Enough of this other shit. Let's take care of our own.
Yep.
Protect the homeland.
He's pushed back at the border, thank the good Lord, and it's just a mess down there. And I'd worked down there several years ago and went and assisted and consulted from Arizona to Texas, and it was a war zone, man. There are gunfights every day. And I was like, this is not America. Imagine these poor ranchers that live on the border in Texas and Arizona and New Mexico. And they feared for their life every day. Every day. And when they stood up to fight them, then they got in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, you can't do that.
Handcuffed. Yeah.
No, I can do that. This is my property. This is America. I have rights. I have inalienable rights, and the right of self-defense is never denied. The Constitution says that.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, we weren't even enforcing that. It was sad.
Yeah, and these cities and states that want to defund our police, I mean, what kind of thought process is that? They're there to keep you safe, and you can get up every morning, go to your jobs, your kids go to your schools, things like that. I don't understand it. But now that's stopped. We're
I wonder how common this is going to start coming when you think about New York and Chicago, San Francisco, things like
Portland,
that.
Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's bad out there.
Yeah, because those blue states the cities in those blue states are real bad.
They are. I've been to them. They're war zones.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why their leadership allows that to happen. I can't grasp it.
And from the outside looking in, even civilianhood is hard to. So the same thing. We'd say the same thing. How does that happen?
Well, they've lost respect. They've lost their values for leadership. And, I think it's Romans talks about how we will adhere to our leadership and, to do what they tell us to do. They've been put there by God. God's had something to do with it. So, I'm like, well, right here it says in the book, obey your leaders.
Mm-hmm.
You bet.
Yeah. Yeah, and the importance of leadership from here on forward. I think Trump's done a great job of setting a precedent for what leadership looks like.
Yes, sir.
Between not only as a politician, as a businessman, but then also getting the strength back in our leadership with our military and our first responders.
Yes, first.
Because you can start to see what that is all encompassing together, and it looks strong.
It is.
Not tolerating no more bullshit. And you can see in some of the crooks. They're so dumbfounded.
Yeah.
And their look on their face like, oh, you guys are, you're going on offense?
Yes, sir.
They're used to having the ball.
Yep.
They're taking it away.
We're taking it away, brother.
I love it.
You're going to go live in a 6x6 cell for a long time. Good luck.
Yeah, just a lot of things getting cleaned up quick, man. He looks like, he's on a mission this 4 years because there's a lot of things happening real fast.
And, looking back, he's been planning this. It didn't just pop into his head. I mean, from the time he left
80s.
office.
The 80s. You watch a lot of his interviews, even from the 80s.
Yes, yeah. And it's funny because I tell people, he's a businessman. This country is a business. We don't need a politician.
I totally agree.
We need a businessman to run our country, and he is, and he's hard and he's staunch, and he loves America.
Well, not only that too. I mean, I think of it like this as well. He got in there in 4 years, and he didn't know what he was doing. Even his sons were talking about it.
He's trying to figure things out.
He was trying to figure things out, who to trust, where to go, what all this stuff was. And he was on defense, it looked like, the whole time.
Yes, sir.
He almost
it was almost a godsend to have them 4 years to where one, it let people see the difference between what he was getting done with all the resistance and what this other guy came and basically dissolved.
Just threw it all away.
So then that way it looked like he had 4 years planned.
Yes.
So when he came in this year, total different people.
Oh, yeah.
Total different mindset
man.
and went on offense.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to do. Not only here in our country, but what we project worldwide. So, you're not going to mess with us or our neighbors or our friends. We're coming to get you.
Yeah.
So that's important.
It's good to have that feel back again, man.
It is, man.
This is so.
People are smiling again.
Oh, the times right now that we're living through, this is a heck of a time to be alive.
It is. And it's going to get better, Charlie.
I feel it.
It's going to get better.
I can't tell you how much of a relief it feels now with kids, with what it feels like this country's going in. But I'm telling you what, you talk about 4 years of panic.
Yes.
When we're letting this whatever culture of how the kids are getting propaganda, trans, all the stuff going to school and Jiminy Christmas.
Oh, it's okay to do that. No, it's not okay.
The demonic stuff that was going on, that having kids in school. Luckily, I have a wonderful school system here in Huckabee.
Oh, we do.
It is unbelievable. But not everybody had that.
No.
Not had that advantage, So there's a lot of places where, man, people were on defense to try to keep their kids from getting.
Yeah, and we have 11 grandbabies, and I look at them every week or every day, and I'm like, man, is this? Before it was like, this is not the world I want them to grow up in. Okay?
Yes, 100%.
But now it's different. It's 180 degrees. This is the world that you're going to inherit, and it's up to us for our kids and our grandkids to instill those core values, to instill the good things that we know, to still that faith. And that's what our society has lost. But now we're going to gain it back because people are motivated. They're happy. What they see, it is going to be good.
I think woke up too is a good term.
Yeah.
A lot of people have woken up from
that's good.
What they thought was real and what they were getting the wool pull over their eyes in a way.
Yeah, and on schools, I used to teach a program that was called Not on My Watch, and I developed it right after Columbine happened. I was still in the Army, but had kiddos in school, and plus what was going on out in the United States in these school shootings and mass shootings. But so what I would do is I would go into a school district, and without very little cost, I would teach them how to armor up their schools, make them safer. I mean, just simple things. And then if they chose, they could arm certain people in the leadership of that school district. And then I ran them. Well, they had to go do a psych eval. They had to do an interview with me, an interview with a psychologist. And then if they were goes at all that, then I got them on the range, and I spent 3 days with them, tactical shooting. And it's instituted across the country now. And then Texas kind of took it and, put their twists on it. And it is what it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's one thing here in Huckabee. I talked to the leadership, especially after one of the shootings was in Uvalde. Because I was like, look, if I can bring some guys over here, I guarantee I can facilitate some people, some retired military guys.
Yes.
I promise you I could. How can I help? I'll do a car wash. We'll fundraise. We'll get there, whatever. And
brother.
They said, well, the most of their faculty carries.
Good.
And to be able to get in is hard.
Yes. It should be.
It is.
Yeah.
You got to push the button. They dang sure see you. They need to, ask you why you're in there. So that's pretty good. But what do you feel like it could be bulletproof in the fact of what I mean by that is, what do you feel like school systems should have in place to where that's almost a 0% chance of those school shootings happening? What is your take on that?
Well, the first thing is training. And I know in the state of Texas, every school district and a lot of corporations, universities, they're required to have what's called an emergency response plan. So that encompasses tornadoes, a fire, a active shooter, anything that could happen. And they're supposed to drill annually. And I found in all the school districts I've been to, very few of them drill because it takes time. We do a full-scale drill, active shooter, whatever the case. And I always take fire, for instance. You know how many children have died in a fire at school since 1960?
I do not.
None. You know why?
That's right.
Because they identified it in the 50s, school buildings burning, kids burning up. So we went back to the engineers, the architects, and I worked with a couple in Colorado and one in Arizona on how to build these schools to funnel our kids in and out and keep them safe. So simple things, very, very simple things. But yeah, it's so training, train your staff, train your kids, and then, bring in some of these outside experts that know their business and to help with that school. We love glass here in this country. That was one of the big things with the architects. I said, well, we don't want it to look like a prison, but we want to keep our kids safe. That's fine. We'll move your windows up to 8 feet or 7 feet and make them this dimension so they can get light in, or because they can drive right through a glass door, drive right through a window, or crawl through a window. And all we have to do is delay that person 30 seconds at the breach. We know that if we can delay them 30 seconds, they're going to move on to a different point. So just keep that in mind if you're a school teacher or interested parent, that, look at those doors, look at those windows. Doggone it, lock your doors. The state says you have to. I get it. Lock the doors to the outside, put cameras up. On the security side, a lot of districts are using deputy sheriffs and local police officers. My idea was, hey, hire 2 retired special operations soldiers and pay them $50,000 a year, give them some ammo so they can go train, and you're good. You're set.
What is your thoughts on metal detectors? I love your thought of security. To me, that made sense, but metal detectors, anything like that?
Absolutely.
We have it at the airports.
Yep.
And so many other places.
Yes, sir. I've been to Israel. Go to Israel. Every place you go into has a metal detector. Yes, sure do. Sure do. Yeah, you used to go malls, to have metal detectors, or you go to a concert today, or you go to the NFR. You're going to get
about
checked.
That too. Yeah.
So why not our schools and keep them safe?
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yes, sir.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to share something with you that I'm very proud of. As a clinician, my goal has always been to give you the tools to get better, and that's exactly what I had in mind when I built my online course, The Basics of Roping. I've got over 2 hours of instruction, everything from a frame-to-frame breakdown of the swing to dummy drills that'll get you ready for just about anything in the arena, plus tips on rope selection and care. Think of it like a clinic you can carry with you. You can pull it up anytime, anywhere, right from your phone or computer. Just head on over to charlycrawford.training, click on the course tab, and get signed up. Let's keep leveling up wherever you are. So what have you been doing here lately? What's been going on? You've been up there at Radiator Ranch? Is that what?
Radiator Ranch. Del Brisby,
one
old
thing
son.
I will say, how great is it, the fact that if a guy's got cattle right now and the market's high, the grass is green.
Oh, tanks are full. Cattle are fat. I took a calf to the sale barn there in Graham, Texas the other day, and he weighed 400 pounds, and he brought $900. I was like, oh man, I wish I had 10 more of these dudes. I wonder if they got any in Kansas. Might have to put my old rustling hat on. No, I'm kidding.
Man, how great is that for the ranchers? What a good relief right now for them.
Awesome for our ranchers, our farmers. We still have some things on that side that are getting fixed, but it just takes time. People have to be patient. But yeah, you look at cattle prices and almost dropped my teeth out of my head. I looked at the price of a ribeye the other day. It was $20 a pound. That's okay.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Yep. If it keeps our ranchers going, man, I'm all in.
Yeah, you look over the last 20 years, how many of these generations of ranches and ranchers, they just couldn't do it anymore. They just can't. Their kids went on to do something else because they saw what the future held.
I agree with that.
It was bleak. It was bleak.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're coming back.
I love it.
We are.
I love it. What all's been going on up there? I can only imagine the amount of entertainment that goes on up there.
Yeah, we were out at the beaches of Winnebago the other day at the Radiator Ranch. They were doing some bucking Del Brisby, old son. Yes, sir. And if you don't know Del, please look him up. He is one funny dude.
So entertaining.
He's got a show on Netflix, How to Be a Cowboy. And I meant to tell you at lunch, he was on the last episode of Yellowstone. Did you know that? He had a couple little cameos.
I thought I did, but I couldn't remember. It's been a while. I do struggle a little bit with Joe Bidenism. Sometimes I'll forget yesterday. No, I tell everyone during the clinic. I said, "Hey man, if I wander off in the front lawn, just bring me right on back."
How many times you been bucked off and landed on your head?
I've had a few concussions.
Yeah. Okay.
I've had a few concussions.
Bulldogger,
football,
football, Army. Yeah, lots of breaches and things.
So tell everyone, just so everyone understands, what is your relationship over there at the Radiator Ranch?
Oh goodness,
how did that all partake?
So I'm married to Dale Brisby's mom. And she is an amazing, incredible woman. And I know where Dale gets, why he's funny.
Where he gets his wit.
Where he gets his wit, yeah. Edie's his mom. And yeah, it's just been a blessing. And he's got a bull arena there and bucks. And they buck horses and they buck bulls. And we'll go out. Usually at least once a week they're bucking. So we go out and hang out and watch him buck, and he teaches the fellas and young ladies that work for him, if they want to ride, what a better place to be. Than Dale Brisby. I mean, he's never scored less than 95. I mean, shoot. Then you get, folks like JB, they'll show up, and Jim Sharp was there a couple weeks ago. So yeah, it's always going on.
It's been amazing what that man has done to the industry.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
One of the hats off so much that I give him so much credit for is, one, to be able to have the wit to do what he does. The second is to be able to keep it going.
Yes.
The creativity that he has to keep this thing going, and not only keep it going, it's getting evolving stronger and stronger and stronger. It's
growing.
But the fact that that you're able to develop this Image that you're sitting in front of Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan's got an American hat on his head in front of millions and millions of people.
With Dale Brisby.
And you're thinking that this guy right here has done more for our industry than a lot of people that wrote for a living, wrote it for a living. And, it's amazing. I think that a lot of people, and the thing that I love about Dale is also too, you have to have a love for him, and then you also have to have a little bit of a hate for him, because that creates more of an audience.
Yes, it does.
But in my opinion, on the hate side is the fact of like what this guy has done for the industry.
Yeah.
When you're on Joe Rogan, when you're at UFC fights, when you got Cowboy Cerrone, when you're getting these more people, I call him an influencer also, but he's in front of so many different people making Cowboy cool again too.
It is.
I think we give him a lot of thanks in the fact of the different eyeballs that are coming into this industry also along with Yellowstone.
Right. Yeah. And I've watched him over the last 7 years evolve, and he's just an awesome man. He's a Christian. And his demographics is from 6 to 96. I mean, it's from little kids to old dudes like us. The guy's just funny, and he brings to our industry just great things. And again, you said it. He's bringing back the respect for the cowboy and the rancher and that industry. So he's from the NFR to 4-H National to. I mean, he's just all over the map.
Well, I remember when I was making the NFRs, and I remember a billboard out there, and it was like, "Where's Dale?" Like the Where's Waldo? And he was everywhere out there.
Yes. He's got his own poker table, with this picture on it.
Yeah.
There's a Dale Brisby. I was
wild.
Like, I think you've hit it, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's cool in the fact that he's found a different mold. He paved a way that no one else has tried to do. And that's tough and as well.
Gosh,
but then also nail it is harder.
Sir. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. He fights every day. He does. And it's good. We've been blessed, and they've been blessed. Yeah. It's a good thing. It is. And go to Dale Brisby.
Absolutely. I don't know how many t-shirts I've got, riding bulls and punching fools.
Yes, sir. I got a couple.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved it. I loved. Well, for me, I enjoy entertainment. Like I love to laugh.
Yeah.
And I think it's so therapeutic for so many people to, even if it's just a 1-minute skit.
Sure.
That when he had the punching bag out and he was doing all the events, God, that just had me. I loved it. It was so funny.
It's crazy.
So funny. But just the creativity that he does to entertain us, to get a little giggle.
Yeah.
That stuff's so good for us.
Yeah. And he traveled out a few months ago to Arizona, And I don't know if you've seen that one, but they gathered mavericks on an Indian reservation.
And that was with Begay, correct?
Yes.
Derek? Now, was that,
Man, that was cool.
how do we watch that? Was that on?
It's on Netflix.
Is it on
or
Netflix?
It's on YouTube. No,
Okay,
it's on
YouTube.
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 Yep. Yes, sir. YouTube.
And you remember the name of it? Because I had seen that and I heard a lot about it, but I hadn't been able to. I hadn't taken the time to look for it because I fly all the time and I've got time to watch those movies and stuff. I'd love to watch that.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy just being around Derek as well. And between those two get a pretty good vibe together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very, very good.
Derek, he's a wise man.
Okay.
I enjoy just listening to Derek talk. Always well thought out, very, very in depth. I've enjoyed watching a lot of what Dale's done a good job of is letting so many people see that side of him.
Sure.
That's the one thing that I enjoy about the podcast, especially in our industry, is this gives a guy a chance to know him. Because when you're rodeoing, you've got probably 10, 15 seconds after you win the rodeo to talk about how good your horse worked, how good of a steer you got, how great your partner roped him, thank God, and it's over with.
Yep.
So to be able to get to know a lot of the personalities behind a lot of these athletes, that's what I think Dale's done a really good job of getting Begay's personality out there, because it's a good one. Yeah, catching maverick cattle in Arizona on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm
There's
watching
2
that.
parts.
I'm watching that.
Man, it was like, gosh, I could have given anything to be out there and do that. I mean, it was like being
stuff.
1880s, 4.6s, King Ranch, gathering mavericks, man.
Yeah, that's cowboy shit.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was cowboy up. And just watch it. He was like, man, there were a couple times, Gravy, it was like, duh. I was like, I know, I watched the video.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome to see that, but then also see the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
To see the opportunity, like, hey, we need to film this.
How many people get to do that and then get to film it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's who we are. That's what we did. Our fathers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers. Yeah, the guys that tamed this part of the country, fighting Comanches and Apaches and the
Wild West.
It was cool.
Well, what was life like before military?
Oh golly, man!
It was grow up and
it was
sports
kumbaya and group hugs. No, sir. No, my father was in the Air Force and he was stationed out in California in 1960 when I was born. I was born out there, and then he went to Texas. My mother, this was kind of cool. So he had been at a school in Rantoul, Illinois. It was a Chanute Air Force Base. And on the weekends, they would have a USO show on like Saturday night, invite the GIs, the airmen, and then, local ladies. Well, my mother just happened to be one of those local ladies in 1956, 57. But my grandmother was ahead of the USO. So she would plan these. But that's where they met, long story short. And then, things evolved and they got married and out to California. And then they divorced in 1968. And mother moved us back to Central Illinois, a farming community. And she had her family there. And my Uncle Jim, God love him, but I worked for him probably from the time I was 10 years old. He had big farm, raised cattle, hay, corn, all kind of stuff like that. And so I grew up in that community. And here's for instance, and Uncle Jim was harder than woodpecker lips. I know he loved me, but it was tough love. And that
was that generation, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's a hard time and hard man.
Yes, sir. He was World War II Korean vet. And
what branch?
He was in the Army.
In the Army?
He was in the Army, yes, sir. But I'd come in, show up 4:35 in the morning, and, that's when work started. And he'd say, hey, I need you to go cut that ditch. I said, yes, sir. And this ditch is probably 12, 14 foot wide and 400 yards long, say quarter mile. So I'd start walking to the tractor barn. There's a tractor with a batwing push hog on it. He's like, where are you going? I said, I'm going to get the tractor. He goes, no, come here. He says, go to the tool shed. Well, there laid a sling blade and a file. And that's how I cut that ditch. I'm not kidding you. So a week later, I'd be done. Come back, he'd say, and I'd work daylight to dark because I knew that's what was expected of me, and I didn't want to make him mad. I respected that man. I wanted to do a good job, and he always drove me. All the people that mentored me when I was young were hard men, World War II vets. They'd seen just all kinds of things in their lifetimes. So I want a pole barn built in that north pasture. Oh, yes, sir. 60 foot by 40 foot. Yes, sir. Okay, I got it. Start walking to the tractor, but there's a tractor with a post hole digger on it. He's like, where are you going? I'm going to go to the tool shed. And there's a post hole digger with 6 foot handles on it because he wanted them posts 4 foot in the ground, which are regular post hole diggers. What are they, 4.5 foot handles? Well, these are 6 foot handles. So
yeah, because there's only so far down you can go before you can
yes, sir.
Squeeze it back out for your hole's too small, huh?
And a spud bar. You got to have a 45-pound spud bar to go with you.
Especially if you hit that clay or rock, huh?
Yes, sir. I'd go out there and dig holes for a week, and it's things like that. Growing up, I hunted.
I'd say we were the illegal immigrants.
Yes, yeah, we were. Probably child services wouldn't, put up with that stuff today.
Yeah, it's a lot of what's lacking. Probably.
Yeah, that's how you and I
get a good day's work in.
Yes, sir. But yeah, it's and then I played football, I played basketball, baseball, I wrestled, and still worked. There was always things to do. I remember getting up at 4 a.m. when we had cows cabin, and go check calves before I go to school in the morning time. Hay season, I think I started driving at 11, but I'd drive the hay truck in the fields, or he'd send me to town to go get a part or something. We couldn't fix it because there wasn't running to, Tractor Supply and get a part. You fixed it right there at the ranch or on the farm, and it just didn't exist. So
it wasn't baling wire or baling twine. It's probably broke.
It's probably broke. Or a welder.
Yeah.
I can weld that up. But so that it was, I had a good time as a kid. I had buddies, and doggone, we had dirt clod fights when we were little, and then BB gun fights when we got older, and nobody lost an eye. We rode bicycles and horses without helmets. Can you imagine that? Gosh, look at us today. Duh. But my mother was a school teacher for 40 years. All my family were educators. My aunt, my grandmother, my grandfather. I didn't have a chance in my academic world, any school I went to my whole life, because everybody knew me. But we still managed to get in trouble. And then I turned 17, graduated high school, moved back down to East Texas. 68% of the Cokers live in Texas, and I've met several that we're long distance kin or second and third cousins. So that was kind of cool. And I worked on a ranch, Starlight Ranch first, and pretty much cowboyed. I worked in the oil field for a little while on a drilling rig. I learned how to build houses. In school, we learned how to build a house. We learned how to tear down an engine. We learned how to run a mill, a lathe. We learned how to weld. They don't do that anymore.
That is so wild that that's not in there.
They don't do it anymore. I was in FFA and learned how to raise cattle and care for animals, things like that. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I cowboyed and rodeoed. I trained horses for years.
What was the events that you enjoyed doing?
I was a calf roper and a bulldogger, and I team roped. In 1984, me and my header, Eric Brown. If you know Eric, or if you're listening, I'm looking for you, dude. Made the finals. He didn't show up. What do you do? I was a healer.
Usually it's the other way around. Usually the healers don't show up.
Yeah. And Tommy Steiner was a producer. And I went to Tommy. I said, Tommy, have you ever? No, I've never seen this. I'm so sorry, man. So that was the end of my team roping days. And I roped calves and bulldogged. I bulldogged with Gary and Jeff Green. They put me under their wing, pulled me in, taught me just greatest. I don't know how many times Gary went to the NFR, several. I know one time he held the record. He was like 2.9 seconds in Vegas. So that was my life.
How much steer wrestling camaraderie and military camaraderie, do you feel similar?
A lot.
Is that not the coolest event?
Yes, sir.
Of a group of guys that are just all,
Yep.
man, almost one in a way.
Yes, sir. And, you know, I always stayed on the timey side. I didn't go down to the rough stock side. Those guys are bad. And, you know, those Lockrell pricks they're bull riders for those of you who don't. No, but I hauled with some really good bull riders and bulldoggers and ropers in that. I probably rodeoed for 25 years. And I continued to rodeo after I got in the Army. But yeah, it was, golly, there's a lot of camaraderie. And a lot of guys I had met in the Army came from ranching and farming. And they're like, crap, man, this is easy. You know, back when I was I had to get up early, go feed horses, take care of cattle, fix fence, go get on the combine for 14 hours a day. And yeah, my Uncle Jim would tell me I'd come in and eat supper. And, you know, and he'd say, well, where are you going? I said, I'm going home. He's like, well, there's lights on that tractor. So I go till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But it grows hard men, and I know why he did it was to instill in me core values and to work hard, and he did.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody I was around did. Yeah, the camaraderie there, military and you know, the cowboy and farmer lifestyle, there were just a lot of us because, man, we would say, this is easy. They give us a place to sleep. They feed us 3 times a day. Nobody messes with me. I get free clothes and all the bullets I can shoot. What a deal. And they pay me. They paid me I was making $600 a month when I was working on that ranch, and my first check in the Army was like $668. And I had insurance. Oh, that was big. That was big.
What made you want to join the Army?
Well,
and how old was you?
I was 25. Yeah, I was a little older. Took me a little longer to figure things out. But I'd always wanted to fly. I mean, I grew up in the Vietnam War, 60s and 70s, watching Hueys and Loaches and Cobras. That was all on TV. Well, we have like 3 channels maybe back then. So it was always on. But, of course, my dad being in the Air Force and being around the flight line and runways and stuff as a kid. But I always thought the helicopters were just the coolest machine ever. They could hover. They could land wherever they wanted to. You know, monkey could fly an airplane, not a helicopter. So I wanted to go back to school. So that was the GI Bill. That was one vehicle. And, so, yeah, I talked to Dad about it and some other folks, and I was like, yeah, I was newly married, and I just wanted a better future for my life and for my family's life. There might have been, I don't know if I should talk about this. I talked about it on Dale's. There might have been a train involved.
A train?
So, I didn't write about it in my book. Several guys were like, dude, you got to write about this. I'm like, I might want to run for political office one day, but now I'm not going to, so what the heck? So we had researched this. We'd gone to the library. Hadn't been done since 1939 was the last one. It was 2 brothers outside El Paso, Texas. They held up a train, and that was our plan. So in Marshall, Texas, the Amtrak would stop, offload passengers, onload passengers, and then get going. We had planned it, figured it out to where they're going to be real, real slow. I mean, but we had cross ties out and kerosene. We were going to light them, but we were going to hold up an Amtrak train.
Nice.
On horseback. And
I
we
like it.
We had no guns on us, but we had our yellow slickers and our hats and our bandanas. We knew we would
Watching
be
enough Wild West show. We can figure this out, huh?
Yeah.
310 to Yuma.
We missed a couple things. Yeah, 310 Yuma. We missed a couple things. One, it's a federal offense to hold up a plane, a train, an Amtrak train. But so we got it all prepped. We got out there, and one of my buddies, his dad was, I think, the deputy sheriff or I don't even remember now. So we get there, and his dad and 20 of his buddies showed up. DPS, deputies, law enforcement. Might have been a Texas Ranger in there. I don't know. And they rolled us up and they put us in jail. And
Now, how far into the mission were you?
the train was about 15 minutes out from stopping, the Amtrak train.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we weren't going to do anything. We were just going to stop it. But we'd figured we'd be on the front page of every newspaper in the world.
Yeah, because that ain't been tried in a while.
No, not successfully. There might have been a
That's
couple
like trying to bring
tours.
back Billy the Kid this time. I like it.
Yeah. Gosh, I hope I don't get in trouble about saying
That's
about
funny.
this. No.
Well, it sounds like they got to you before you were able to fully engage.
So we spent the night in jail, and then they took us before the judge the next morning. The judge gave us two choices. You can go to Huntsville State Prison, or you can go in the military. That's back when they do that. And the judge knew we were good boys, and we just needed some guidance. We were bored, I guess. We were like, well, let's do this. I'm tired of roping cattle.
Well, there was no internet.
No
You
cameras.
You had to go
phones.
do things to have fun.
Oh, yes, you did.
To go rob a train.
So we stood in front of him, and every one of us, I went next door to the Army recruiter. Two of them joined the Navy.
So what
and one
made
of
you
them-
choose the Army?
I wanted to fly.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
I
wanted to
don't know
fly
if your dad went
helicopters.
to the Army or...
No, he was in the Air Force.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah.
you said Army earlier. Okay.
Yeah, he's in the Air Force. But the Army has a program. It's called High School to Flight School.
Mm.
And you can literally graduate high school and go to flight school at Fort Rucker, Alabama. I was an 18-year-old. I had two in my flight school class, 18-year-old kids. They couldn't even drink beer. So on the weekends, we'd leave them riding their skateboards, and we'd wave, see you later. You guys suck. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I did. And I enlisted as an infantryman, went to the 101st, and loved it. I found my place, man. It was just, again, when God knits us in our mother's womb, our path is already laid out. I would tell my guys this. Yeah, we might wander left and right, but here comes the Louisville Slugger. Some of us that are hard-headed. And, the good Lord will kind of corral us and herd us back to where we need to go. But yeah, so and I did, and I started the process of getting into flight school as soon as I got to Fort Campbell. And it back then it took probably close to a year to get your interviews. You had to get a class 1 flight physical. You had to take a FAST test, which is flight aptitude selection test back then. And just to, check your aptitude, see if you had the ability to do it. And for some odd reason, I got selected in 1989. And yeah, I went to Fort Rucker in 89. I tracked Cobras. I wanted to be a gun guy. I like shooting things and blowing shit up. That's what I told my senior TAC. And he's like, roger that. So Cobras, you go. The Apache was just coming on board. They had the Black Hawk, of course, the 58 Scout track. That didn't interest me. So I went guns. And then my first tour out of flight school, I flew AH-1Fs. I went to South Korea, which was a great tour. I hated the place, but it was a really good place for a young aviator to learn. And that's what you're there for. Your first 3 or 4 years, learn the aircraft. There's just so much to learn as a military aviator. And yeah, I flew Cobras out of 517 Cav and Camp Mobile up at 2ID, and then came home. I had an Apache transition. So I went to Rucker in February of 91, and then flew Apaches in the 101st at the first of the 101st for about 2.5 years. And I would see these little black helicopters flying around. Every now and then I'd be like, hey, who are those guys? They're like, don't look at them, man. They don't exist. They don't. And I remember one time when I was a private, and we were sitting behind our barracks. We'd just come out of the field. We were cleaning weapons. And here come 4 little birds. And I was looking, old Big Star said, Coker, get back to work. I was like, what? Get back to work. He says, don't look at those. They don't exist. I said, okay. Well, they're right. Shut up. I said, I'm going to fly those one day. He's like, you're stupid. I was like, okay, whatever. I wish I could find that guy.
Yeah.
I wish I could find him.
Slide right over him.
Yep. So, and then I knew about the unit, and I had 2 buddies that were in B Company, first of the 160s. That's a gun company, the AH-6 So there's two companies in the 160, the A company, B company. A company flies the MH6, the little birds with the planks on the side. So the Delta guys or the Rangers, they can ride on the planks, and then they insert them and infill them in rooftops or alleys, wherever they need to go. I wanted the guns, so I assessed. I put in my paperwork. It's a very long process. The assessment is a week long, and it's just a butt kicker, and they kill your soul. They kill everything about you. But it's all for a reason, psychologically. What's in your heart, what's in your guts, and do you really want to be there? But the one thing they want to see is that you never quit. And that's our motto. Nightstalkers don't quit in SDQ, if you ever see that. So, yeah, for some odd reason, I passed that. And then you get a date to start what's called Green Platoon. And that's their training platoon company. And then the guys go off to, like, Little Bird guys go there, then the Chinook guys will go there, and the Black Hawk guys will go to Black Hawks. So as a gun guy, it takes longer because we have to learn to shoot this particular helicopter. And it's a, there's no hydraulics in this thing. It's 1957's technology. Howard Hughes developed this helicopter, flew all through Vietnam, and in his development phase, he wanted an aircraft that was going to be safe for the pilots if they crashed. So this thing, and some guys still call it the killer egg, but you look at the body, it looks like an egg. But when the crash sequence, it'll roll, the tail boom breaks off, the main rudder breaks off, you roll, which I did one day, proved that theory, unfortunately, and here I am. But yeah, so it'd been around a long time. And then we have to learn to shoot that aircraft. We carry 2 miniguns and then 2 rocket pods. Yep, that's our standard loadout on that aircraft. Best job on the planet.
So that's what you wanted to do when you got there.
Yes, sir.
And then the more you kind of got in there, you kind of seen a little bit more of what kind of units maybe, I guess, that appealed to you with the helicopter?
Yes, sir. And our whole mission is we support United States Army Special Operations Command. So we support Delta and the Rangers, the 160th does. Okay. So anytime they do a mission, we go with them. If we go somewhere, they go with us. And that's how we're configured to go to war for this country and, be it hostage rescue or whatever.
When were you able to start going on missions after once you got it trained? When were you able to go on missions?
So I got there in 1993, and then there's another progression that takes 18 to 24 months. So this is where you get in, you start working with the different units. So you work with Delta, you work with the Rangers, you have to learn how they do business and where they work. I mean, you travel all over the world and do this. Mountains, jungle, overwater, urban areas, all the areas that we may get called in to go work. So that takes about 18 to 24 months, but most of that time is spent teaching the guy to shoot with the precision that we shoot. And we have to, because we shoot very close to friendlies on the ground. When they're in that knife fight, they're going to call us and, hey, we need help. I mean, it happened night after night with me. So, and then a lot of guys are like, I mean, how do you guys shoot so accurately? Well, we practice a lot. We go to the range 3 days a week and we shoot. Well, what do you use to aim with? I said, it's a grease pencil mark on the windscreen.
Because it's at night.
Yes,
correct?
It's at night. We prefer night. We're night stalkers, not day stalkers.
But I agree with the question of, how you're able to be so precise, in the dark.
You bet. I mean, I can put a rocket through a window at 500 meters. That's the standard I'm held to. I can shoot minigun 10 meters in front of friendlies because that's the standard I'm held to. It's to help our brothers on the ground. It's to save them, or if we have pre-assault fires authorized going to a target and we shoot and they're, the flight's right behind us, the MHs, the Black Hawks, the Chinooks. Once we clear that area, then they land, and then the assaulters go do their job. They take down that house or buildings or whatever the case. So, yeah, Black Hawk Down, if you've ever seen that, they did a pretty good job.
I heard that one's pretty accurate.
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Bowden wrote the book, and Mike Durant And yeah, but it was pretty accurate. So yeah, then once you're a BMQ, a basic mission qualified pilot, so you're not signed off to go into combat until you've completed that training, 1.5 to 2 years. You can shoot the standard. You can plan. We're the best planners in the world. Our standard is plus or minus 30 seconds at that target. So if I tell the ground force, I'm going to be there at 0100 hours, sir. Well, we have to be there at 0100 plus or minus 30 seconds. And that's with a map, a compass, and a watch. We have to be able to get to that target. Lives depend on it. And a lot of times it's not just us. It's assets overhead. It's bombers, fighters, B-52s, whatever the case. So this is all coordinated into the fires part. So yeah, we got to be there. If you're not, you're asked to go get 101st patches and go somewhere else. I saw a lot of guys, it wasn't for them. Probably 8 to 10 in my tenure. I spent 15 years in B Company. And everybody said I was crazy. I said, no, Doc says I'm not crazy. I loved it. I love
what is B Company?
So B Company, 1st Battalion, 160th SOAR. So the 160th is a regiment. And then we have 1st Battalion, 2nd Battalion, 3rd Battalion, which is in Savannah. 1st and 2nd are at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And then 4th Battalion's out in Washington State at SeaTac, Seattle. So those are the 4 battalions now. 1st Battalion is pretty much we're the go-to-war unit. We're the ones that support Delta, the Rangers. So there's A Company, B Company, C Company, D Company in 1st Battalion. A Company is MH6, the Little Bird company, so they haul the customers or haul the guys. B Company is the gun company, so we're the attack company.
Gotcha.
So we provide precision, surgical, close air support for the ground force, okay, when we hit a target. Or they'll just send us out. I mean, Afghanistan and Iraq, they just sent us out, man. So go kill. Roger that. And we'd go find targets. We'd pick gunfights with Al-Qaeda and Taliban and shoot them up.
Yeah.
That's our job. And then C Company and D Company are the Black Hawk company.
Okay.
They have Black Hawks. Then 2nd Battalion is at Fort Campbell, and they're Chinooks. There are big MH-47 freaking hot rods. They can carry a lot of dudes to get to the target. Yep, sure can.
What was, without getting into too much of your books, I don't want to give too much of it away, so everyone can go read it, but what was some of the special missions that you remember that however you want to talk about them, and whichever ones you can or can't?
Sure. No, I can talk about all of them. The first one would be, of course, in Afghanistan. We were there late September 01, and I did the first mission, and they told me I fired the first shots in Afghanistan. So we already knew who it was. We had 3-letter agencies, calling us and emailing us, hey, we know who it is. Here's where he is. This is last known. Go get him. So we spun up. The package was A Company, B Company, Little Birds, our Black Hawks, our Chinooks, because we didn't know what we were going to get into. We just know we're going to go. And we're going to go find the enemy. We're going to fix the enemy, and we're going to kill the enemy. And we were all pretty angry because, they just killed 3,000 of our American brothers and sisters. They had attacked us. So we go to Masira Island, which is off the coast of Oman, a little bitty island with a big airfield. We get in there. It's the Nightstalkers, it's Delta, and then Ranger Battalion, so 3rd Battalion. The Rangers were there with us. That's the go-to-war package for this country. And we get there, we start planning, and then I'm the fire support officer for TF Sword. So they named our task force TF Sword. So I was asked to be the fire support officer because the other one had just left. I was like, doggone. So I told General Daly, I said, sir, I'm a gun guy. I know, Gregory, and I'll get you in the fight, but right now I need you to do this. I need you to take that AC-130U model. It's a gunship with the 105, the Gatling gun, and then the 40 Mike Bofors cannon. Man, that thing is it's an incredible airplane. Anyway, I had one dedicated to me, and we flew into Afghanistan. It was a 3-hour ride one way every day, and then we'd go to work. We'd find targets, we'd find personnel and destroy tanks, armored vehicles, personnel, command and control, radio, whatever was going on that night, we took care of it. So, but I also was picking the route for the helicopters that were going to fly off the ship for the official invasion date was 19 October 01 as Objective Gecko and Objective Rhino. So Objective Rhino, 3rd to 75th Rangers, they did a combat jump on that airfield to take and hold it. That was going to be a FARP, a forward arming refueling point for all the helicopters. It was just off target to the southwest of Kandahar is where Omar's ranch was that we were going to hit. We were hoping either him or bin Laden or some of the guys would be there. And so the Rangers hit that. Delta guys flew off a ship in Chinooks, and then there were 4 DAPs. Those are defensive arm penetrators. They're Blackhawks with guns and rockets and whatever they would have put on that thing. And the reason they went is because they could aerial refuel. Little birds, we can't aerial refuel. We have to put in a FARP, forward arming refueling point, with our guys there, so we can land, get fuel, get bullets, get rockets. They didn't want to do that, so they sent the DAPs with those guys, and then we hit Objective Gecko on 19 October 2001, and that was kind of the official start.
Was that movie 12 Strong? Was it pretty close?
I haven't seen it. I didn't see
that one. Was
I knew a lot of those guys. They were 5th group.
Yeah, I love the movie.
Yeah.
I love the movie. Yeah. But yeah, I was curious because that was I believe that was from right after 9/11.
Oh yes, sir. Yeah, they went north. And whatever country it was, anyway, they wouldn't let us come because that's where we wanted to go to operate because then, we'd be right there. Mm-hmm. And logistically, it made sense, everything, but they said, no, you're not coming here. So we had to go to this little island, 3-hour plane ride away every night. But it's all good. It was just a commute and a means to get us into the fight. But yeah, 5th Group did a great, great job. And I'd actually... So General Daly, he was our commander, task force commander. He came to me one day and he's like, Greg, you're a cowboy. I said, well, yeah. What's up? I need saddles. How many do you need? Oh, 14, 15. Well, where can I get them? Let me check.
I remember that part of the movie.
I got on the phone and that was me that I ordered 15 saddles. I don't recall who it was from now. But I told them the story and they didn't believe me. Or the man in the booth, they're like, you're who? You're where? You what? Okay, what? I got a government credit card. I'm going to pay. Okay, yeah. I mean, what kind do you want? And da-da-da-da. But they got picked up. They got put on a reach back at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, flown to Afghanistan, and 5th Group had saddles.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Yeah. But yeah, it was wild, wild west, and it was, we all got our cherries popped. So none of us in well, I don't think anybody had been in combat before, ever. And man, now we're going head to head with some pretty bad dudes that hated us more than anything. Their Bible tells them to kill us, to rid the world. Yes.
And that Muslim, and it's not all, but is it the Quran? Quran?
The Quran.
The Quran. Yes, that's where it seems like it gets pretty extreme.
It does.
Yeah.
I've read it.
Yeah.
Know your enemy.
Right. Kind of like when we were soldiers.
Yes, sir.
Studying your enemy.
Study your enemy. We all read it and went through their history and their beliefs and, all that thing. But
do you feel like, is that why there'll probably never be peace over there?
Never. This has been going on for over 1,000 years, brother. And I try to educate people. They're like, well, this started on 9/11. Well, no, it didn't. It started in 1096, the year 1096. The King of France sent 10 Templar knights, so they were the Delta force of the Crusaders back in those days, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th century, and to protect the routes that the Christians were traveling on to Jerusalem because they were getting terrorized and murdered by Muslims, by Islam. I said, this has been going on for a long time.
So do I have a crazy perspective? Is this something that is not common or popular in the fact of, does that feel like a religion or a terrorist group? In the fact of, because that's what it almost seems like they can hide behind a little bit because there's freedom of religion, right, in our country.
It is.
But when it feels like a terrorist group, that feels like it's kind of walking that line where it's kind of a gray area. Does that sound about right?
It is. And now this is Greg Coker talking, but if they're a practicing Muslim, they're our enemy because they hate us. We are the infidels. I don't care what they say. If they're a practicing Muslim, they're Greg Coker's enemy. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the Wahhabis in the 7th, 8th century. So they were Sauds, and they were kind of started the terrorist group, the Wahhabis. Look them up, Wahhabis. They're bad terrorists. Yeah.
Was there some villages that you were in where it was the complete opposite?
None that I was there in the very early days, and we were hunting bin Laden, and Omar, and all of his command. So that our focus was, find, fix, and kill the enemy.
Yeah.
We weren't going to capture anybody. Yeah. And
what was some of the trips and missions that you were on trying to find those guys?
Oh goodness, man! We were operating every night. We got the Delta guys in country. We got the Rangers in country. And we'd gather intel and then identify a target or potential or possible, and then go hit that target. And then another one, then go hit another target. We'd hit 5-6 targets a night, and then we operated at night solely. Bad things happened during the day. So, yeah, that was pretty much it. And then we got the order in late December. So, hey, you guys, you're headed home, and we're going to start training up to attack Iraq. And we were like, oh, cool, great. Another war. That'd be back to back. But yeah, we were December, early first, second, 3rd of January. Yeah, we had UBL. We knew he was in Tora Bora, and he was to meet with 3 of the mullahs, so the head guys of those tribes out there, and, either talk peace or surrender, whatever. I don't know. It's beyond me. I'm a trigger puller, and that's done pay grades above us. So we had eyes on. We had 2 guys with eyes on bin Laden. He walks out of the cave. Oh, let me add this. Above him, starting at like 16,000 feet, there were like 50 or 60 bombers stacked up, full of ordnance. And the contingency was, if he doesn't come out within 2 minutes, we're dropping. And I mean, the biggest, baddest, most technologically advanced 2,000-pound bombs, 1,000, laser glided, bunker busters, you name it. Well, he came out and talked to the 3 guys, turned around and walked back in the cave. 2 minutes went by, and they said, drop. And they spent about 5 days dropping ordnance on that mountain. There's no way any human being or animal or critter could have survived. None. And we didn't get any more electronic transmission from the guy, video, any of that stuff. So here comes 2011. They killed Osama bin Laden. No, they didn't. That was all propaganda for the Obama administration. That's Greg Coker talking. And they had a double. UBL was left-handed. Look at all videos and pictures. He's always shooting a rifle, and he wore his watch on his right wrist. Okay? So I knew one of the guys, talked to him that was there on target to gather intel. I asked him. I said, hey, was he wearing a watch? Oh, yeah, my buddy took it. We're taking things off his body. I said, what wrist did he have? Oh, it's on this hand right here. And I said,
his left?
No, it wasn't. He's left-handed. He wore his watch on his right. That wasn't him. And he turned white as a ghost. But anyway, it is. Yeah. He's dead. He's gone.
Yeah.
Somebody else is always there to take his place.
That's the hard part.
We'll be
It'll
fighting.
Never stop, huh?
We'll be fighting Muslims for another 1,000 years. Al Qaeda, ISIS, you name it. But But we go there to fight them so they don't come here.
Yeah.
By golly, we got to keep our people safe.
Bill Forrest took me to meet Ross Pro Jr., and they're a big sponsor of our military event that we have every year.
Yeah,
and
Ross Jr.
Bill had, I think, flown helicopters with him, 12 years, if I remembered right, roughly around there. And so
I was
got
supposed
to go
take that job.
I remember you guys were talking about it the other day.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting to go and see the museum of Ross Pro and what all he's done. But Bill, when we were looking at a lot of it too, I thought was cool was when he went in there and got those guys out of Iran in the 90s. That was a badass.
I got to sit there with every one of those people and listen to the story. It is unbelievable. That's Meadows,
badass, huh?
His old helicopter pilot, Ross, and the Iranian guy.
Now elaborate on that story, because if I remembered right, we couldn't go get him, but somebody could. And then did I hear it right? Where Ross stepped up, he says,
"Yes, sir,"
and he went and got him.
He had three people in Tehran that had been arrested, and the U.S. government says, "No, we're not going to do that." So Mr. Pro says, "Well, I'm going to do it." So he put his team together. Sure did. Look up Dick Meadows, Bull Simons. They're real, very legendary special operations guys. Delta started all that stuff. And then, I can't remember the helicopter pilot's name. He's a good friend of mine. But anyway, I was the only guy that would let fly Mr. Pro's helicopter. He wouldn't let anybody else do that. And it would piss some guys off. Like, no, Greg's flying. Okay, that's awesome. Roger that. But yeah, Mr. Pro, man, what a patriot. And but yeah, so they're planning to get over there. Dick Meadows and I think Bull, they went ahead. I know Meadows was in Tehran, and then Ross was going to meet him in there, and their plan was to start a riot outside the prison. So get them looking over here, and Ross and Dick went in the prison, let his 3 employees out, walked out, got in their trucks, and drove off.
Rescued him out of there.
Yep.
Badass.
And the helicopter pilot, I said, well, how'd you get an aircraft? He says, I think it was in Uzbekistan. He said, I went to an Air Force base, walked out, parked my truck, walked out to a helicopter, pre-flighted it. I think it was an Mi-8 Russian or Mi-17. Anyway, he says, I got in that sucker, started up, took off. I said, no, you did not. Yeah, I didn't. But he landed at a chosen spot by the border. So if they needed an exfil, he could fly in and get them. But they didn't need it. They drove out and then spent a couple nights with different tribes en route. And the Iranian fellow that was with him, of course, he spoke, Farsi or whatever they spoke, and said, no, these are friends of ours. And so they got out. So I said, well, what'd you do with the aircraft? Got in, cranked it up, flew it back to the Air Force Base, tied it down, got my truck and drove off. I said, no, you did. I did. And Mr. Bro was like, oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. That's a true story, But they had 2 5-gallon water cans that they stuffed with $100 bills. There's like $500,000 cash total in these 2 water cans. Well, they had left the vehicles and walked across the border. And they stopped. They were talking about, what next, and their pickup was there. And gosh, I can't remember the Iranian guy's name. Anyway, he's a cool dude. Well, they turn around, and he says, I'll be right back. He takes off running across the border back to Iran, gets those 2, because he knew that money was there, gets those 2 5-gallon cans and brings them back, hands them to Mr. Pro. He says, I did not want to leave this money. This is your money. And Ross was like, I don't care about that money, man. Don't do that again. But he wound up working for Ross for 30, 40 years. Yeah. Cool story.
Yeah. As we was going through the museum, Bill nudged on me and goes, hey, take a look at this. It was a stick there sitting there. And I looked, read the captions. Bin Laden's stick. I'm like, Perot got Ross. He got Osama bin Laden's walking stick. Yep. He's like, yeah, how about that? Not the president's, not the Secretary of Defense, Ross Perot.
Yeah,
that's some clout.
he had a couple things that I'd brought him and some prints and some booty from Afghanistan, Iraq for the museum and stuff. I think I got a piece of my helicopter I gave to him too when I got shot down. Yeah,
I've just heard so much respect about that man.
Man, he did so much
Should have
for
been
our
a president.
community.
Should have been our president.
Yes, he's a businessman.
Yep. Yeah,
Not a
I think
politician.
I feel like Trump learned a lot from him going as an independent.
Mhm.
I feel like
I agree.
because he kind of be on one side of one party or the other, but
I agree.
he felt like the right guy.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Enjoyed his intelligence.
Yeah.
Man, and he'd said it right, man. What a patriot, huh?
Yeah, what a patriot. He did quite a bit behind the scenes for guys that have been injured, wounded. He flew families to Germany that they knew he only had a few hours left and wanted his family to be with him in his last moments. And
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Good man.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to take the time to thank all the ropers who've attended one of my clinics this year. I can't tell you how much I've appreciated your support. My goal is that you enjoyed team roping, you're staying safe, and you're getting to the pay window. If you're interested in coming to a clinic this fall, check out charlycrawford.training, click on the clinics tab, and see if I'm headed to an arena near you. If I'm not, and you got a group of ropers that'd like me to head your way, check out my open host clinic dates. Here's what's open for right now. September 5th through the 7th, October 10th through the 12th, October 24th through 26th, November 1st and 2nd, and November 21st through the 23rd. If you're interested in hosting a clinic, head on over to charlycrawford.training, grab the host form from under the clinics tab, fill it out, and send it to me to charlycrawfordtraining@gmail.com. What was some of the funnest things about the military? You know, the camaraderie, the guys, you know, you talked about night stalking. Well, there's plenty of times during the day too, where there's plenty of, you know, just the camaraderie, the things that kind of went on when you weren't on missions.
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, we were always picking at each other. And I mean, we're all a bunch of boys in men's bodies, pretty much. You know? And we're special operators, and, you know, we went by big boy rules, so we all took care of each other. And, you know, the old man or the boss, the commander, he trusted us with everything and his life. But as long as we got the mission done, nobody messed with us. Yeah, typical day, you come in, check the board, go work out, go get your workout in. And we were all very, very physically fit, man. I mean, all those guys are Olympic level athletes, man, because we train. But you have to, you know, keeps our bodies strong. And if things go bad, then we've got that energy and that strength to get through it mentally. Yeah. And then, you know, we'd go to the range and shoot the helicopters, or we go to the flat range, shoot M4s, pistols, always training. And I averaged like 294 days gone on the road every year. So we call it TDY, temporary duty, but we travel all over the U.S. to train, mountains, jungle, over water, Europe, you know, South America, wherever that contingency might take us. So we go and do that training. It was a lot of fun.
When did you decide that it was enough when you retired? What was it that, you know, this is enough?
Yeah, my boss told me one day. He did. I'd been shot down in 2004 on 19 March just south of Fallujah. So we answered a call from Delta. Well, let me just back up, kind of give you the scenario. So we've been hitting targets, Fallujah, Ramadi, for weeks, and it was the wild, wild west, man. It was like every terrorists in the world had come, and it was a triangle. It was Fallujah, Ramadi, and Maria, and that was the triangle. And that was probably 90% of our missions for months were in that triangle. But they had come to fight the Americans, okay? They started coming in October of 2003 because we were hitting targets with, you know, 8, 10, 12 different nationalities that we'd killed. They were making bombs or planning or for whatever the case. So we're like, something's going on. And then the insurgencies, that's when it had started. So we had hit a target in Fallujah, that our last target that night on the morning of the 19th, early, like 3 or 4 in the morning. And we got intel off of that target that we had a little chat with them. Our chats are a little different than other people's. But so there was another high-ranking Al-Qaeda lieutenant we were hunting that was going to be at a house in Fallujah at 10 that morning. We're like, ooh, daytime, no, bad. Because our last daytime mission was October 3rd, 1993 in Mogadishu, Somalia. And we all know what happened those 2 days. So Sergeant Major's like, hey, you guys, we had a little clandestine forward arming refueling point outside of Fallujah. He goes, you guys stay here. We're going to drive in, get the guy, and then we'll come out. You guys crank, because we could get there in like 2 minutes, it wasn't that far. And I said, yeah, roger that. If you need fire support, let us know. So we cranked up. They hit that target, got that guy. Well, there was another dude down in Amaria that we were hunting. So we were like, okay. Well, he came back, said, hey, and we'd been up for days, man, working, because we were hitting. So in the summertime, you don't have much darkness, okay? You got longer days of light. Wintertime, you have longer nights. So in the wintertime.
So it's the opposite there. Is that right?
No, it's not.
Wintertime. You said wintertime more light or no?
Yeah, it's the same here.
Okay.
We have longer nights during the winter.
Like nights. Yeah. Got it.
Longer
Yeah,
nights.
yeah.
Not like south of the equator where seasons are opposite.
Got it.
Yeah. Not that. And so Sergeant Major says, hey, you guys go back to Baghdad. We were still at Baghdad International Airport, BIOP. And he says, we're going to drive down there and kill the guy, and then we'll come back. Okay, roger that. And so we jump in, take off. They drive down there. It was about a little after 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Got a radio call, tick, tick, tick. So tick is troops in contact. We just shorten things on the radio. And we all know what tick means. So I was like, oh, I know his call sign. I know his voice. We got to go help him. So we grab guys, we gather up, jump in the steel ponies and gallop to the target area. It was about, 12, 13 minute flight. Got on station. They were there. There wasn't any engagement at the time. And then, we got engaged. And then there was another group it looked like they were trying to hook around and flank the vehicles. They had 5 vehicles. They had 3 up-armored gun trucks, which were Humvees, and then the Rangers manned the guns in the cupolas. So there's 375 guys there. So either 50 cals or dual 240Gs is what they were manning. And then the Panders, they're a big armored vehicle. It's a six-wheeled vehicle. And so we engaged them. The other aircraft had an engagement, and the troop commander calls and says, hey, we're out of here. I'm like, okay, thank God. And I mean, the hair stood up. When I cranked the helicopter, the hair stood up on the back of my neck. And the co-pilot, so whoever's not flying, you've got your M4 up, if you're in the left seat or the right seat. And it's to, rapidly engage targets or suppress a target, and we're very effective at it. And we can hit a man at 100 yards doing 80 knots, one shot. So I told my co-pilot, he was in the left seat. I said, hey, man, you see anything, I want you to kill him, shoot him, give me a clock position, call out, hey, action 10 o'clock, so I can look, say, okay, yeah, or 2 o'clock, okay. And that's just how you communicate in the cockpit. And we finished up, and I came and did a swoop over the Delta guys, just kind of waved at them, as we always do. And I was at a climbing right-hand turn, about 65 knots, and I was at 175 feet, and I hear this giant explosion, and the aircraft shudders. And I'm like, oh, shit. Always, always, always the first words out of any pilot's mouth when something bad happens is, oh, shit. So I leveled the aircraft, and we get alarms when the engine quits or the rudder gets low, or, I'm an instructor pilot too, so I entered an auto rotation. And that's a maneuver that we have to learn to do in case the engine quits. So lower the collective to keep the rotor turning at RPM, because the wind, the relative wind, is going to blow up through that rotor system and keep it spinning. And then it's just like a powered off landing at the bottom. You do a decel at 75 feet to bleed off your airspeed, and then level at 15 feet, and then you pull all your cushion. So you land and slide. And the best way I can explain this, Charlie, is that, and you've been in a stressful situation. There's been hundreds and thousands of people, but it was like an old 35 millimeter film, and it was frame by frame by frame. So our adrenaline drops. All these great chemicals we have in our body, our training takes over. And, yeah, I mean, it was just click, click, click as I was descending. And helicopter pilots, we use our surrounding environment kind of to judge the height, a telephone pole or a house or trees or a bridge or whatever the case. Well, there's nothing out. It's just dirt, just flat desert dirt. But we have a radar altimeter. So I kept checking the radar altimeter, kept checking my rotor RPM, and I had to control it once. It got real high, so I just pulled a little bit of collective in. And I mean, you're literally looking between the puddles right to the ground where you're going to touch down. And then I saw about 75 feet. So I said to myself, I'm going to do a real aggressive decel to bleed off as much airspeed as I can. And this all took place in 3.7 seconds from the time the missile hit me to the time I touched down, because we inputted into a computer and went through it scenario time after time after time again. So I leveled, touched down, and I slid about 35 meters and into some soft dirt down a bit of a slope. We have skids, and those skids stuck. So what happens, you get the physics now, and I've got this momentum. It stops. Well, up. It's kind of like riding a bronc, when he's going to dashboard you, and his head goes between his legs, and you're like, ugh. And that's kind of, I swear, that's what I was thinking.
Feet go behind the cantle, and
yeah. I was like, oh, no,
here comes the dashboard.
I'm trying to get my stirrups, my feet are on the pedals. I'm like, that is going to suck. And my wingman said, dude, it was a perfect auto rotation. My co-pilot said he didn't even feel us touch down. I mean, again, I'm an IP, and I do them very well. I've done hundreds and hundreds of them. And we slid, and then I remember hearing the main rotor hitting the ground, bop, 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 and then out. And I guess in the first roll, I was in the right seat. My head hit the door frame, and I hit it so hard it cracked my helmet. It knocked me out, knocked my co-pilot out. So I come to, we're inverted and on fire, and I hear this popping noise. I'm like, what in the world? First thing I thought about was popcorn. I'm like, what in the Sam Hill is? Oh, it's ammo cooking off. Right behind me sits the ammo can for the minigun. And I'm like, whoo, that fire's close, boys. So I look over at my co-pilot. He's got blood all over his face. And I'm like, oh, man, did he get hit? Did he hit the cyclic? Okay, the Loach, or the OH-6, the little bird, has a bad reputation for the shoulder harnesses not locking in a crash sequence. And I know a couple guys that don't have any front teeth because they hit the cyclic. So that's what I thought. I put my hand on his shoulder. I said, hey, bro. I said, get your rifle, okay? And I point. I go, meet me over here, because you don't want to get in front of a gunbird, because there's rockets, there's bullets. I didn't know what they were going to do. They were on fire. Were they going to blow up? I knew the ammo would just cook off and it wouldn't hurt us. So I grab my rifle, crawl out. I try to stand up. I can't take a step. I fall. Stand up, fall. Stand up, fall. I'm like, crap. Is my leg broken? Because I kind of checked myself when I was hanging there. You do all your checks. Package is good. Let's go. And I crawled out because my first priority was protection of that helicopter and my co-pilot. Again, training kicks in. Adrenaline is just flowing. And so I do a 300. I finally get up. I sat down, checked both my legs. Later, the doc said I'd gotten a stinger in my spine, my L spine. It kind of numbed my right leg, and it didn't work for a bit. So I did my sweep, came back around, he still wasn't out. I mean, now the whole helicopter's engulfed in fire. So I get down on my hands and knees and I look at him in his eyes and I said, you have to get out right now. Okay. So I kind of go back out, get on a knee, protecting, pulling security. I look back. He's still not out. I'm like, crap. So I crawl back. I crawl in the helicopter. I reach up, pull his buckle on his shoulder harness. Boom. He's because he's inverted and he hits. Boom. He looks up at me and I just grab him. And I'm not kidding. The fire was just rolling around his left arm, just licking. And I pull him on top of me and I push and I pull him out. And I'm like, okay, we're out. We're good. He's like, yeah. And so we set up about 50 meters to the east of the helicopter. Of course, now I'm thinking, okay, little black helicopter shot down. I'm thinking Black Hawk down. Here they come. And there's an ensuing gunfight. Two of the Delta guys saw where the shot came from, so they started to suppress that building. There's a 2-story building there to the east. And they knew it was an SA-16 by the signature, which is a very technologically advanced heat-seeking shoulder-fired missile. It's what they use to shoot down jets and helicopters. So I hear a truck. I'm like, hey, man, I got a truck coming. So he kind of scoots over to me, and I told him, I said, if you see or hear something, sing out, because we're kind of fucked up right now, and let's put 2 eyes on it, 2 guns before we shoot. Let's talk about it. And then I see this guy running. I see a ball cap. I see a beard. I go, oh, that's Chaz. I know that guy. Here he comes, grabs us, hugs us, and says, what do you want to do, Gravy? I said, I want to find that motherfucker and I want to kill him. He goes, we'll get in the truck.
Let's go.
So I won't say any more than the next 6 hours were spent in a gunfight with bad guys, and we fought our way through Fallujah, through Ramadi, and to our mission support site. It was about 10:30 that night. But yeah, so from that crash, it really busted me up. I'm going back to the boss telling me it was time. But I've had 46 surgeries, and I have 47 pieces of titanium in my body. My surgeons put me back together, and I did 5 more tours once I could get back up flying. Yeah. Flying tours. I did a tour with Delta, and then I did a tour with the 22nd SAS as a fire support guy. Great times, good times, wouldn't trade it for anything, but I missed flying. But my last tour in 07, 08, I told myself, and I was just hurting, because I'd come back, they'd do a surgery, I'd get back up, go on another tour, come back, get another knee or shoulder or whatever. And I was like, man, I'm a liability, and I don't want to be a liability. And the guys, they were seeing it. And yeah, the boss walked up to me one day and he put his arm around me and he goes, Gregory, it's time to go home. I said, yes, sir, it is. It's time. Yeah. Dropped my retirement papers the next day. Yeah. Headed to Texas.
Headed back to Texas.
Yes, sir.
Headed back to Texas. What was retirement like? Because I've seen a lot of guys, once they seem like civilianhood, seems like there's a lot of struggle with that. What was retirement like?
Man, it's a challenge. And if it hadn't been for my faith and my trust in God, I wouldn't have made it. I'm just going to be straight up with you. And that's why a lot of my buddies have taken their life. And it's terrible. But so I started out at the VA in Dallas, and their answer is to subdue us with drugs.
Yeah.
And I was eating 22 pills.
What kind of drugs, if you don't mind me asking?
Opioids, benzos, Ambien. I mean, you name it, man.
What's it supposed to do?
It's supposed to keep us calm, keep us down.
Now, is that something that's like
PTS?
When things get inflamed and things get like where you can't control it, where it's kind of, it calms you back down, and then do they help you learn how to control it, or is it just throw the drugs at you and figure it out?
Man. Here's 10 bottles of opioids. Here, take these 5 times a day, or here's some benzos.
Then what's the stuff that makes, I mean, how does that work long term?
Oh, it's an addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a drug addict.
Yeah.
I was an alcoholic. I am an alcoholic. And, alcohol does the same thing. Subdues.
Mm-hmm.
We can drive out to the liquor store and get a bottle of whiskey every night.
Yeah.
You bet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and then I kind of came to one day, this was in 2008, late, and I kind of woke up. I'd been sitting in a chair and there was a puddle of drool on my t-shirt, on my shirt, my pants. I was like, fuck this.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and dumped every one of those
It's
bottles.
like a tranquilizer almost,
It
isn't
is.
it?
It is.
Yeah.
So kind of pulled myself up by my bootstraps, and I had my own business. I taught tactics and weapons, and then I taught some flying, some night vision stuff, and really engaged. I was a professional shooter. I shot for the Army Marksmanship Unit when I was in the Army, and I think my greatest accomplishment, people would ask, I won the silver medal at All Army one year shooting. I sure did. But anyway, so I was trying hard to integrate back in to society, back to my family, back to my children. My children at this time, they were 17 and 14. And of course, my spouse. And I just worked and I drank.
Mm-hmm.
And I built a place there in Hazlitt, right past Texas Motor Speedway. I bought 10 acres, built this huge Austin stone house, 4,000 square foot, had big range and, pool. And man, this is it. This is my forever home. And then 2015, my ex-wife of 32 years left. And I was like, well, I didn't see this one coming, And she did. And I had 2 girls. My oldest was like 7 months pregnant. Her baby daddy lived with me. And then my youngest daughter's boyfriend lived with us. And I'm like, okay, I've got a household to uphold. I've got people to take care of. Get your ass going. And I continued firearms tactics training. Then I got in oil and gas as emergency response, safety and security consulting. It was very lucrative, paid very well. And so that's what I did. And then 2015 rolls around. My best friend took his life on 26 June 2015. Master Sergeant Leon Hansen, he was a Delta operator. It just broke my heart, man.
Mm-hmm.
I cursed God for days. I mean, it made me so angry. I just talked to him he always called me on my birthday, and I always called him on his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd come out a couple times and stay with us, and we'd shoot and go, just have fun, And, so that happened. So it was kind of compounding there in 15, divorce, best friend takes life. Where am I going? Please, God, give me a sign. And then August of 2015, one night, I think it was like around the 7th or 8th, but I was hammered, drunk, taking dope, and walked down to the range with my 45, man, put it against my head, and the bullet sits on my desk. I see it every day. God spoke to me.
What did he say?
He spoke to me. He says, not now, Gregory. Not now, Gregory.
Heard it loud and clear.
And the next thing I remember, I guess I passed out and woke up the next morning, and birds were singing, and my pistol was still in my hand. And I was like, gosh, dog. I just looked up and I said, thank you, God. He has a mission for Greg Coker, and I'm going to execute that mission. And that's helping my brothers and vets and their families. And,
What changed after that day, or that night, excuse me?
My whole outlook, number one, I had been grumpy, grouchy, mean, mad, just a jackass to be around. But I was fighting demons, constant nightmares. And the nightmare has been catching on fire and rolling and burning for 20 some years. So I fought that. But again, through my faith, it saved me up until that point in August 2015 and afterwards. And God spoke to me, and I said, okay, I got things to do. Okay. So, and there were always vets coming. There were a lot of Rangers and Special Ops guys there in the Metro. And of course I had a range and a pool, and, we'd come hang out and lift and all kind of stuff. So I just kind of settled in, took care of what I needed to take care of. And I was happy. I'd gone to a couple of
what was what we were talking about during lunch? Is it down in Mexico?
Yes.
What
sir.
was that called? I forgot. I've heard Sean Ryan talk about it and Joe Rogan. What is that?
Yeah.
That you go down, and I forget how long you go down there for and what exactly what it's called, but I've heard it's very, very effective.
Yeah. And well, to precede that, I'd been to, I don't know, 5 or 6, what are they called? Therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was Carrick Brain Center. I did a 2-week in-house, inpatient deal there. I went to Mighty Oaks. It's faith-based down in South Texas,
Mm-hmm.
very powerful, and 3 or 4 others. Just trying to get better, trying to be a better man, a better father. And, so did that. And then there's a nonprofit called VETS. It's VETS, and it's veterans experiencing, I can't remember the rest of it. Anyway, so they send you to Mexico. Okay. It's all paid for, and you are administered psychedelics, Ibogaine and 5-MeO. I kind of hit a dark place back in the winter, October, November, December. A couple of buddies recognized it. They had applied to go to VETS. They came to the house and says, you need to go to VETS. And so then I started really researching the psychedelics treatment. There's nothing but positive.
Mm-hmm.
And God grows this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So next thing I knew, I was on an airplane headed to San Diego on February 15th. And the 16th, they picked us up. There were 5 of us in my group. 5 of us in my group. We drive down Tijuana. I mean, first rate, first class, 5-star, 3-course meals. We went to a sweat house one evening. We got full body massages, a lot of group therapy preparing us for the medicine. We take it on Tuesday night. I can't do it justice talking about it, but it was.
I was wondering how hard it would be to explain.
It's extremely difficult, but it was earth-shattering. It was life-saving, life-changing. I mean, and they used it for drug addiction and alcoholism. And from what I read, they're over 88% successful with one treatment of psychedelics. And these people don't want drugs. They don't want alcohol anymore. It's incredible.
What if you could try to narrow it down on what do you think it does? Is there anything you can think that does it just reshape your thinking? Does it take you to a certain place inside of you that kind of addresses those things to where it's?
Yes, sir. So how it was explained to us, and our facilitator, he is awesome. Slider is his call sign. He was a fighter pilot. But he says, okay, it's going to crack your brain open. He says, you're going to see this, and then it's going to rewire it. Side to side, front to back. That was the first thing that I saw in the medicine. And it was like a chartreuse red and a chartreuse blue, front and back. Left to right was the red. And I was like, wow, I had a lot of anxiety about it. We all did.
Mm-hmm.
We were all special operations, and then there was one of them was a SWAT officer that had been shot in San Antonio. Yeah, it's Veterans Exploring Treatment Solutions. Okay, VETS, and they told me I was in the medicine for about 30 hours, and man, I spoke to God. I mean, there was no doubt in my mind. He was with me the whole time. And every one of the guys said, we're all Christians. And he said, and I asked them about it. They're like, oh yeah, man. No, yeah. He was right there.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. But I saw people that had great influence on my life, mentors I saw, and they had all passed away. My mother, Doc Neal, my grandfather, 2 World War veteran, World War I, World War II. My Uncle Jim, 2 Army buddies, Leon, that had taking his life. Bob Horrigan, that was killed out in Western Iraq. We chatted, and man, it just went on. And there's really there's no value of time, or I don't know where I was in time, but. And you wear a blackout mask, and you're in a bed, and it's very comfortable. But, I'd lift my mask up, look around, and kind of, oh, okay, I'm good, put it back down, and then the medicine take over. But what you have to do is you talk to the medicine. So they have you write down, an example. So I talked to the medicine about being a better man and a better husband, and to live in love with my wife, okay? I talked to the medicine about giving me empathy. I don't have a whole lot of empathy. I do now. I get it. I'm much more calmer. I don't, I never thought I really had, in the last 10 years, a bad temper. Before then, I did. But, man, I just feel so chill. And I just love everybody. And yeah, God's with me.
Yeah.
And it's even more powerful in that sense for me, because I am on a crusade and I am a disciple. So this just gave me more tools in my tool bag to help others, is the best way I can explain it.
Why do you think that is not legal in the USA?
Because Big Pharma doesn't want it here. It's going to cost them billions of dollars, man. That's my theory.
Is that not wild?
Yeah.
That you have to go to a foreign country to be able to get that kind of, get that kind of treatment.
I know Governor Perry is a huge backer of this.
I've been seeing some people starting to advocate for it.
Yes,
I have.
Yeah. And we just passed that bill in Texas to do ibogaine study.
Awesome.
So the government put in $50 million, and then private sector put in $50 million. So we've got $100 million ready to do study on this and to get our veterans fixed, man.
Got it. To me, that's so important.
It's just, it's unbelievable.
It makes you wonder, too, as you think about those badasses, them World War II guys, stuff like that. How did they deal with it compared to how we deal with it now? Because
Vietnam vet.
Yeah. It seemed like there's so much almost just suppression where you didn't look at it. Or, I don't know. It seemed like those hard asses back then was able to deal with it in a different way. Don't you feel like?
They're just hard men.
Yeah.
They were hard men. They've been through hard times, and to them, it was just part of their duty as a patriot. Hey, we got to go fight fascism. We got to go fight communism, whatever. We'll come home and go back to our farm or factory, raising our families. But I can't imagine what they went through, and I hate the word PTS. I'm charging hard to change it. It should be PCS, post-combat stress. That's what we suffer from. Anybody can get PTS, and it can be short-term, long-term. That could be a rape victim, a car crash, whatever the case.
Whatever's traumatic.
And it can last from 6 months to a couple of years. Whereas if you look at the Special Operations soldier, we're doing this night after night after night. I did it for 8 years, 11 combat tours, and my brothers did the same. So how is that affecting our brains? And, they take their life. They can't fight the demons. They lose faith in God. Mama leaves, takes the kids, takes their money. Boom. Okay, but we have got to stop this, man. They owe it to us. And ibogaine is the answer.
Man, I've heard a lot of stuff about it.
I've talked to so many buddies now that have been through, and I've been very quiet about it because it took me about 4 months to bring it in, to break it down and make sense of all of it. It did. I just kind of crawled back in my cave. I mean, I wasn't on social media. I wasn't on anything, but I'm getting ready to put some posts out there.
Yeah. Well, I hope this administration, if it's right, they're going to, I really believe in RFK. I figure what he's trying to do.
He's doing amazing.
He's going after
job.
Big Pharma. I think Trump and Hegseth, I think there's going to be some battle of the minds.
Yes. Sir.
I'm hoping to be able to get the right treatment our veterans and first responders need.
Yes.
That's one of the biggest things I've seen is where also those guys are seeing certain things daily as well. You know, some of this, the
firefighters, police officers,
seeing things you can't
paramedics.
unsee.
No.
And a lot of them probably not trained for, I'm sure.
No,
and
they don't.
then how do you deal with it? How do you not take that home?
Yes, sir.
And so, yeah, I think the treatment.
Even the spouses, I think the spouses, we forgot about the spouses during these times because look at what they went through. Their husband goes off to war not knowing time after time for years and years.
The worry.
The kids. You don't think it hadn't affected those kids? Oh, it has.
Yeah.
It has.
For sure.
I've got 2 of them. So, but yeah, it's a good thing. I'm real excited about it. And Governor Perry is Department of Energy dude. So I'm sure he's got President Trump's ear.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the give backs you have now with some of the foundations you're doing, because I think it's so awesome how many guys in the military, first responders, all that, man, when they come back, because there's so much in Christianity, there's so much to giving and being servant. Yeah. And for some people that just don't understand what that feels like, it's hard to replace because it really does get you off yourself. So therapeutic. But talk about the things that you do with your give back.
Yeah, I can't sleep at night sometimes because I'm like, I can't shut my brain down. So I'm like, I need to do this. But, our docs, our psychs always told us we were A+ personalities, not A personalities. But yeah, so I started out with a good friend of mine. He was from New Mexico. He was a ranger and we retired and we're like, hey, how can we give back? And horse therapy was where we started and spent about a year working on it. I drew up a business plan and just from our experiences as being cowboys and on the ranch and working on farms and, we're like, dude, this could be good. This could be good for these guys. And we just couldn't find the backing. So we were going to start it. Wanted to start one in Texas and one in New Mexico. That's where he was from. But anyway, so then I just moved on to ministry. I'd have guys at my house and we'd talk about it. And like I told you at lunch, it took me 7 years to get one of my brothers to recognize Jesus Christ and salvation.
Didn't give up on him.
Nope. I did not give up on him. And he is now a Christian. He's been baptized and yeah, it's good. So then I kind of ran out of things to do. I met my wife in 2017, bless her heart, Edie, and we met on Match.com. We did. I'm not kidding you. That's another story. But, oh my gosh, God sure did bless me. And so I started writing a book. I wrote the book. And, like I said earlier, I prayed about this a bunch, and it took me 15 years to write the book. I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to be this or that or whatever, because we are quiet professionals, but we don't have to be silent professionals. Okay, I kind of came up with that, coined that term, and sent the manuscript out. I wrote the book in 89 days. That's all I did. I'm mission-driven, man. I get my teeth into something, it's going to get finished. And there were a couple of times Edie says, hey, you need to walk away for a couple of days. Yep, roger that. And so I finished it, and I says, I'm going to donate 100% of the proceeds that this book makes. I want to help my brothers and their families. So we did, sold over 10,000 copies, and we've donated $106,000 to date to 501c3s that support vets, first responders, and their families. And it's cool. I just came out with a second edition that people wanted more hardbacks, but this is it. After they're gone, and there's Kindle and Audible. So
was I downloaded Death Waits in the Dark on Audible? That way I could listen to it because there's so much, like for our industry, there's so much neck down work, between herding turds, loping horses, driving. So that's where it was easier to, as I was moving, to be able to keep listening to it.
It's very popular. I love Audibles. Edie listens probably to a couple books a week because she's in her shop. Those machines are running, doing embroidery, and I got her some good Ear Pro, and she can listen to books and protect her hearing. But Yeah, and I'll have guys call me, hey, man, I'm driving across Wyoming. I got your book on, dude. It's like you're sitting right here with me, you know?
Yeah.
We're sitting around the fire, and I turned the book on, and guys are listening. And so, yeah, we did that. And then I did the second edition and got all that finished. And, you know, and Edie was like, what are you going to do now? I said, I don't know, honey. I'll figure it out, you know? And I'd had several buddies that were very high-end knife makers. They're vets. And one of them lives in Jacksboro, so about 20 minutes away. And they'd been after me for years. You know, hey, man, you need to come try this. Come try this. I was like, man, I'm busy. I'm doing this, that. So finally, I went over in August of, I think, 2002, went to his forge, and STA Knives is the name of his business. And I started forging. I forged a railroad spike into a knife, and I was hooked. And I had to do it in a coal forge. He was hard on me, but he's a Marine. Don't hold that against him. He likes grape crayons. Just saying. I love you, JJ. So, yeah, I worked with him for 30 days. And then I was like, man, I'm way behind everybody. I got to catch up. So I sought out Steve Schwarzer. He's a world-renowned knife maker, master smith. He is the Damascus guru. So I went out and worked with him for a week. Bill Harsey, I said, where do I need to go to learn how to grind a dagger? Because they're the hardest. Well, Bill Harsey out in Oregon. So I called Bill. Hey, I want to learn how. Well, come on out. You know, John Horgan, he's 3 hours south of me. Just a phenomenal world-renowned knife maker. So I went and worked with these guys for a week, you know, or called them, hey, what about this? What about that? And just going out, built me a little shop and just doing it and learning it. So when I got shot down, so there's 12 barrels on my two miniguns. There's 6 barrels on each. Well, those wound up in my possession. I don't know how. They were in the bed of my truck when I got home one day. So I carried them around for years and years. I was like, man, I'm going to make something cool out of these one day. Well, I started making knives. So I had approached Steve Schwarzer and told him my story. John had introduced us. And in 2003, I went out to Florida. And Steve told me, he goes, you can't F this up, dude. You're coming to my shops, and we're going to do this. Nobody had ever done it before. So it's a different kind of steel, and there's a lot of prep you have to do. So I go out there, and I start making a billet out of minigun barrels. Well, I was there on 9/11 that day. He and his wife came walking in the second day I was there, carrying this big chunk of steel. Well, it came from the World Trade Center. He goes, we want to gift this to you and put this into that billet that you're going to make knives out of. No, man, no. Yes. So again, long story short.
Boy, when he says don't F it up.
Yeah.
Couldn't shove a greased pea up the hindquarters on that one.
Yeah. I was like, dude, I don't know, man. I'm just here and I do, you know. I'm strong like bull, smart like rock. Rangers lead the way. But yeah, so I made the billet. The original billet weighed 27 pounds. And my plan was to make 4 knives and then sell them off because I wanted to start a nonprofit, Blades for Brothers.
Blades for Brothers.
Because and even Edie said, my neurologist said, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it because it's helping you. But it's therapy, okay? It gives me a mission. It gives me focus. I start firing neurons because I use geometry. I use math. I use my imagination. I use art. All these things. So I talked
and the satisfaction when you're done.
Yeah, it's like, man, I made this thing. I made this thing. And people will pay money for them. I was like, okay, what a deal, you know? But then I looked at, I want to make spurs. I'm going to learn to make spurs and bits because that's where I come from, you know? A knife, it's the oldest tool on the planet. It's 2.5 million years old. We started using them a long time ago to hunt, to protect, to fight, all those things. Yeah, so I got 4 knives out of the billet, and I call it War Steel. You can go on my website. The whole story's there.
What's your website?
Bladesforbrothers.com.
Bladesforbrothers.com.
Yes, sir. Books are on there. I just kind of piled everything. I got tired of paying for 3 different websites. So I was like, I'm just going to do one website, and they get knives and hats and books and the stories there. So, and I kind of, so people can follow along, see what we're doing at Blades for Brothers. So the whole concept or the mission for Blades for Brothers is bring in vets, first responders, family members, and teach them how to make a knife.
Mm-hmm.
And to date, I've had 19 vets. I've had 2 police officers, a firefighter, and the Gold Star son.
Awesome.
Came last summer, and I knew his dad. He was a ranger who'd been killed in Afghanistan. So it was really cool. He stayed 3 days and made a couple blades and worked with him. He just wanted to know about his dad.
Yeah.
And we had a good time.
That's cool.
Emotional.
Yeah.
It always is, but yeah, it was cool.
I think men are designed, I feel like, for when you're probably going through some of those things, as being able to have something to do while you're doing it.
Yes, sir.
And I think shooting's probably good with that too. Wouldn't you say?
That was my next.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a range there at the house, and we'll go out and shoot, or we hunt pigs. I'll bring in a couple vets every year. Shoot, we got some nice 8 points that, I'll put them on every year, and so it's just time to fellowship. Vets will come as long as they know it's a safe place.
Yeah.
Okay. Not a psychiatrist, that it's at some organization, not some knucklehead, but the guys that have been there, done that, smelled it, tasted it, touched it, buried their buddies, but we offer that safe place. I wish I had a rope arena. Going you, Charlie. Edie's going to be like,
I tell you what, you have a roping arena, it's like having crack with a bunch of crackheads.
Yeah.
Team roping is a whole different kind of, of addiction.
I know.
They will show up, man.
30 years.
You build it, they will come.
Yes. They will. I had a real nice roping arena at Fort Campbell, and everywhere I've lived. But anyway, so
that's one of the things that I with my guys and stuff, listening to them.
You're on it.
Well,
man.
I appreciate that. But one of the things that I heard them say is, as I try to listen to them when they're talking, because what I always tell them is that, hey, I'm coming from this in such uncharted territory.
Sure.
I said, let's relate it to what I do for a living. Mm-hmm. I rope. So, when I go to a rodeo, they usually at the end of it, especially like say a big rodeo, like say Cheyenne, they're going to give away saddles and buckles. Well, usually that sponsor.
Money.
Yeah. Well, usually that sponsor is out there getting pictures taken with the guys who win it. Well, that sponsor probably doesn't know anything probably about rodeo.
Yeah.
And that guy might walk out with his cowboy hat that he bought from Boot Barn on backwards.
Yes.
Because he's got no idea.
He has no idea.
So I said, here's your guys' when you guys have my 6, make sure I don't have my hat on backwards.
Yeah, you bet.
So, what I'm saying? Like, hey, if I'm talking about what I mean? Like have my back here, because I don't know everything.
Yeah.
And those are things where I don't want to press.
Sure.
So I might throw some questions, but the most part, I'm just trying to listen.
Yes.
I'm trying to learn, trying to understand. And one of the things that I really understood when they were talking to counselors and this and that, when the counselors were like, yeah, I understand.
Yeah. No.
And they're like, no, you don't. That's where Blake Mallory's so awesome with having him with our foundation and just having him under our umbrella. That dude was one of them.
Okay.
So when he says, I understand, he's talking to them, they feel that connection, like you said. They feel that safety.
Yes, sir.
They're not talking to some quack that's reading them to something that they read out of a book.
Right. And they, the guys will just start puking their feelings. And we as warriors, we have a bad habit. We just push it down, suppress it. Yeah. And then boom. Then it blows up, and that's not good.
Yeah.
So
that's what I've heard a lot of the guys talk about, is being able to be there enough to where you're able to get it before they suppress it, to where they can kind of get it out.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You bet.
Bill explained it really good. He talked about it like a caboose, like with a freight train just going as mock, however fast it goes, and everything that happens, they throw in the caboose, everything that's caboose, buddy's getting shot, whatever is happening, because you're able to keep moving. Then when they come home, and then it's like crash, and then it all comes.
Yeah. And guess who is the catcher of it? Mom, kids,
family,
mom, dad, friends, family. Yeah, it's not right. It's not fair to them. And we're all guilty. I'm one.
Well, I just don't feel like that's right. When we started this, was I'm just not a fan of my government.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where this has come from, is a lack of leadership from our government. There hasn't been something that's taken care of our guys.
Yes. Yeah.
Our streets are safe because of our first responders. Our country is not speaking another language because of our military.
Yes,
you know, these are the motherfuckers, excuse my language, but like, if it ain't for them, this country's on a whole different track. So how are we not taken care of?
Yeah, we're in a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
We are. Yeah, and I really appreciate, because you are sincere about this and what you're doing and what you're going to do. And I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I love you for it. And you're a brother. And whatever I can do to help,
I appreciate it, brother.
You point me.
You got it.
Because I'll be like a doggone bulldog, dude.
Well, it's one of those things where I got it every once in a while. It's like, if someone ain't going to do it, let's do it. Let's just do it then. We ain't going to, no one's coming to save us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right. Well, I mean, my wife is the one that kind of brought me and some of my buddies get, Garrett Jess, when we were out the rodeo, and when we would see anyone in uniform, we just go buy them lunch. Sure. We just get their ticket and buy it. And
in the airport, GI, hey, come here.
And so my wife, she's like, I wonder if there's something else. I wonder if there's something even more that we could do. And she's the one that kind of like got the creativity going. And it's like, once this grew from a clinic then to a roping and now what it is, and then you look back at it and you're like, wow. You talk about how God gave you a certain ability. Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't for me. How is he able to utilize what I've done and the ability that he gave to do it for others?
Sure.
And you think, I mean, as a team roper, what am I going to do to be able to help? I'm not a counselor.
Yeah, me neither.
And so just being able to give a lot of these guys that outlet to go rope.
You bet, dude.
Giving those guys outlet to get.
What a great feeling.
Well, man. And to get around each other. Yep. There's guys that I didn't even know that showed up to the roping that I didn't even know served. Together. I didn't even know they served. They never talked about it. And then when they would show up around their guys, you see a different side of them.
Oh, yeah.
You can see some weight lifted off.
They're laughing. They're picking at each other.
And I never saw that.
Yep.
Their camaraderie came back. Their balls kind of came back a little bit. And that's what they kept telling me was like, man, this was the greatest day of my life.
There you go.
And I'm like, are you kidding me?
No.
For one, talk about like, for me, how much I took what I do every day for granted. Mm-hmm. And two was, man, when the guys would come back and they'd be like, man, this, I feel like this could really keep the gun out of my mouth.
Boom. There you go.
When I heard that was real.
I've had 4 guys that left that knife shop and told me, Greg, you saved my life.
Yep.
That's why I was doing it.
I've had family members come and say the same thing that they say because of just the guys that they were able to get around their guys again.
Yes.
We've got guys from back east that don't even rope. They just come because it's such a fun event. Yeah. And they just come and hang out. But
it's our tribe.
Yeah.
Man. It's our tribe.
100%.
And that's what we have to have.
Mm-hmm.
We do. It brings us, it grounds us. We can laugh, we can joke, we can cry.
Yeah.
And I tell these dudes, I'm like, look, I know you're one of the hardest men on the planet, almost as bad as me.
That's what I'm going to start telling them too.
I went on a podcast and the headlines was baddest man on the planet, Greg Gravy. I was like, no, dude, don't put that on there. I just did my job and I like killing terrorists.
That's right.
It's the cowboy in me.
That's right.
But yeah, man, you're on it, and please stay focused, stay on path, because you're changing lives, brother.
I appreciate it, man.
You are, and hey, tell me about the foundation.
Well, I'm going to be happy. I'm happy to hear that you're going to be our guest speaker.
Oh, that's
so
right.
How cool is that going to be?
Oh, Lord,
we're going to make sure that I text you again so you can put it on your calendar.
Yeah. Hey, where's Greg?
I just talked to him the other day.
Yeah. No, okay.
No, it's been great. I think we've raised almost $1.2 million just in 5 years.
$1.2 million.
We've helped build We've helped build 5 homes. This will be our 6th. That also it means a lot to me too with the Brotherhood for the Fallen, being able to help the families if their loved ones was tragically murdered in the line of duty. We step up. We pay for their funeral costs. And then whatever's left over that they have, until their benefits come in, which sometimes can be timely.
Yeah.
You know how that stuff works.
Yes, I do.
But, that's a big part of, I think too, of what really is in my heart is, what about the families that are having to deal with that? Yeah. And so that's a good one that's really near and dear to my heart.
Good.
We do the same thing with the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation and then Charlie 5.
Yes.
Charlie 5 does awesome, man, out there in New Mexico. Jeremy, he brings the horsemanship
and the PTSD or the PCS, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And, man, just, I think the therapy that you can think about when you're trying to understand horsemanship, when you're trying to get into that horse's mind, when you're trying to put that, you talk about calculus, I mean, for us, it's a puzzle.
Yeah.
It's a puzzle to figure out how to put this horse to where he can learn to trust you.
Then it's trigonometry and geometry.
Yeah.
I got to put that rope right there.
Yeah.
And I've got to do the same thing every time.
What I love about there is they do the horsemanship. Because the horsemanship, in my opinion, that's like the Bible. It never ends.
Yes.
You never quit learning.
No, ever.
And it is so therapeutic in the fact that you're trying to gain this animal's trust. And so it's really cool how much you learn about yourself.
You do.
I learned so much about with how my actions were with other people was affecting how I was treating my horses. A lot of the things were on the inside were coming out of my horsemanship with frustration or things like that. So I could really see where that's so beneficial with what he's doing with the vets, where they're learning so much more about themselves as well.
Good.
And that bond you got with that horse.
Yeah, man. When you join up,
brotherhood almost.
make that join up, dude, and they're licking and looking at you, and you
so
got
Friday,
your buddy.
Yeah, exactly. So Friday, November 7th, this will be after we have that clinic. So the clinic is the only thing that's invitational. We invite guys to the clinic. It's free for them. There's 8 headers, 8 healers. Trey Johnson, he brings his ministry also with the ability to learn how to heal. And so we do that Wednesday and Thursday, and that's for guys who've never been to the clinic before. A lot of them just getting in the industry.
Okay.
So we're introducing a lot of military and first responders into our industry.
Can I come watch?
Absolutely. I want you there the whole time if you can. And so that is what kind of started it. We did that here. We just did a clinic. If they served, it was free. And it's still free today. So that's the only invitation. After that, anybody who's served, whether you're military, first responder, we have a roping for everybody. So on Fridays, the open rope, and that's where we bring in the top guys.
Okay.
And we get some money added for that. Well, then after that, we have a military first responder pro roping. So that's where the military guys get to rope with the NFR guys.
No way.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. So that is special to them, man. And I tell you what, I'm starting to see the bond now between my NFR guys and military guys because they've been coming so often.
Sure.
Now there's guys going to rodeos to go see Coleman Proctor.
Yeah.
To go see Joseph Harrison, because they become buddies with them at this roping. Yeah. They'll go. Yeah. I've seen them. I've seen some of them drive all the way from East, go up there to Guyman to go watch them guys and come all the way back. Yeah. So they're starting to, you can see a bond, and it's cool because we get 10,000 added for the heading and the healing.
What?
So Boot Barn adds 10 grand for the military, and that goes straight to the military guys.
Wow.
And then Quanah adds 10 grand for the healing.
No kidding.
And then we have a ranch rodeo. So the ranch rodeo, this is where, the guys in SWAT, your guys in this got the warrior mentality.
Yeah.
Sometimes roping's like golf.
Mm-hmm.
You have to kind of slow down and kind of get the feel of it. Well, some of these guys ain't wired for that.
Right.
So we have a ranch rodeo. So we put 3 steers out there, and they've got to tie 2 down and pin 1. This is where we let them run.
Oh, dude.
Just go.
That's awesome.
On your mark, get set, go. Yeah.
Make it
let them burn the steam off and just go haul ass. And it's awesome. So we got Ariat adds 10 grand to the ranch rodeo.
Wow.
And it's awesome. They have 4 minutes. They got to tie 2 down and pin 1. And whatever they came in with, they got to leave with. So if they lost their hat, their rope, their shirt, or their underwear, which I've seen all of them gone, they've got to make sure it's all out before the gate shuts. And it's great.
Now, is it a team or is it a single?
Yeah, it's team. Yeah, 4-man team.
No shit.
So that's that ends our Friday night. It's great. It's our best event. That's our best beer sales. We get beer donated to us when we can't sell them, so we sell off donations.
Yeah.
So that's where that event kicks butt right there
man,
for our donation beer sales.
Awesome. Yeah.
So then Saturday, that's when we have our military first responder roping.
Okay.
And this is a 10 slide to kind of even up for everyone. That way everyone has a chance because there's some guys who rope pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And so this levels it out. We've got 67,500 added to the military first responder rope.
Oh my gosh, Charlie.
So 30,000 will go to first.
Well done.
Signature and Creative Science has added the 30,000. And so I call it the regular season. And the reason why I do this is because when these guys were telling me it was the best day of their life, I got to thinking, I put my first event done. We did it in 30 days because they were like, man, let's have a roping. So I put it in 30 days. We raised 50 grand. So I'm like, man, give me 360.
Yeah,
you know
buddy.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
well, when they said it was the best day of their life, I was like, all right, man, now that I got time and I'm retired, let me show you the cool stuff I got to do while you guys were fighting for my freedom.
Yeah.
So I try to create it like an NFR. So the military first responders, I call it the regular season, they run 3 steers, and the top 15 make it to our NFR showdown on Sunday.
I'll be darned.
So we had 380 teams last year in the military first responder open. And I sold back numbers for the top 15. And so that other 37,500 is what I put from 2nd to 15th. So if you make the top 15, you get paid.
Dude,
so when you make
check.
the NFR, you get paid.
Yeah.
So I tried to make it all the same.
I'll be darned.
So I call this a regular
beautiful.
season. So then that night during our gala that you're going to be our guest speaker at there in Decatur, that's where the guys that made the top 15, we do a back number ceremony, just like we do at the NFR.
At the NFR.
Yeah. So they're sponsored back numbers for them. They get pictures taken. We talk about them. We brag on them, love on them, and get them ready for tomorrow.
There you go.
And so the gala is where we raise our money. So if anyone wanting to come to the gala, come watch Gregory, man.
Please
come. He's our guest speaker.
Please
That's
come.
where we sell our auction items. We have a bunch of them right there. That's where we raise our money.
Okay.
And also your sponsorships. But also this is a big part of how we raise the money so we can give back.
Gotcha.
And so then Sunday's what's fun.
Oh,
this is what on at 1:00 Cowtown Coliseum. So we get the NFR guys in Fort Worth.
Oh my gosh.
Live on the Cowboy Channel.
Oh no.
So the NFR guys, they come and have 4 full rounds. And the reason why I had those guys there first, I was trying to sell tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to get those guys. I was trying to get the Cowboy Channel.
Sure.
And then also I wanted to be able to let these guys watch what these guys can do in an NFR type arena. So if they've never got a chance to watch the NFR, they can watch it at eye level.
Right there.
At eye level. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. So I have the military first responder short round in Cowtown.
Okay.
So the top 15, they're out back warming up with the NFR guys, getting ready, watching them rope. Well, in between the 2nd and 3rd round, that's where we let those guys come in and rope their short round steer.
I'll be darned.
And also during so we like I said, even my grand entry, I try to have it like the NFR.
Yeah.
So you know at the NFR, they're in the grand entry, everyone right behind their state flags. They're in our grand entry. All the guys that made the NFR or the short round, they're right behind their branch flags.
Oh, the branch flags.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What a great idea.
Yeah. So
how does a vet get started? How does he get in this to come and rope?
Enter.
Okay.
Show up and enter. Enters on site. Look at libertyloyaltyfoundation.com.
Okay.
Our flyers up. The dates are up. And so when these guys come in, man, when they ring the bell and they win it, like last year, the high teamer won it.
Oh,
my
Lord.
goal this year is I want to pack that thing.
Yeah.
I want to pack the Cowtown Coliseum because when these guys, when they do it and they ring it, and I mean, I want them to feel what it feels like.
Oh, at the NFR.
At the NFR.
Dude. When you come right in that ring,
and for vets, check out our website. For the vets that want to come watch, we've got sponsors that have sponsored a whole section for military and first responders.
So
check that out. Yeah, if you want to come and watch and support the guys, I want to pack that sumbitch.
Yeah, man.
Because when they do, then I let them make the victory lap.
No kidding.
We hold on to their horses when they're done. We got the saddles, buckles, the big check, Cowboy Channel, Katie Lucas down there interviewing them, and try to make it just like if it's at the NFR.
Wow. We need to get Dale Brisby there.
I've been trying. We've been
Dale.
I know it.
Chief.
I know it.
We need to get Charlie on your
the
podcast
Radiator Ranch right there.
And get some reach out for us.
That's what I'm going to work on. After this, I'm going to work on trying to get on some podcasts and kind of get out there and promote it. Yeah. But that's my goal this year is to really, I'd love to pack that thing because I'll tell you what, our NFR showdown on Sunday at Cowtown, it is so filled full of emotion.
Yeah.
Because when you're seeing a vet get a home that he didn't know was coming, and you see his family out there.
Dude, I can't.
And we try to make sure all this is within a 100-mile radius.
Oh, okay.
So this is done in Fort Worth, so the guy getting that home is going to be in Fort Worth. We're not funding money from New York or anything like that. We're trying to stick with our neighbors and same thing with the Brotherhood for the Fallen. That police murdered was in our compass. We're taking care of our own, right? And so, that's when for me, when I go up there with a challenge coin for the family that has lost a loved one, that's usually pretty recent. Yeah. That one is one's real for me. But I'm telling you, the hugs that you'll get on that, the tears, well, you can feel it. Yeah. You can feel the hurt still.
You can.
And, but I think it means so much to them that people are thinking of them and that there's a whole audience behind them. And
heck yeah, man.
And that they're not forgotten. We're celebrating them. This is a whole hero celebration. But But yeah, just the excitement of it, because when these guys win that victory lap, I tell them when they go through the gate,
don't fall off.
I said, don't go slow.
Oh, don't go slow. Yeah.
And you wouldn't be able to tell if they won the NFR or that roping, man. It is awesome. It is awesome. So yeah, there's just so much emotion in this. It's awesome. So,
all right, folks, get out there. Come see us. Yeah, November.
And hey, check out bladesforbrothers.com too, correct?
Yes, sir.
You'll see some, if you're looking for some knives, and then also too,
come make a knife if you're a veteran first responder.
That's right.
Yeah. That's
right. And then what about shooting? Do you guys schedule that, or is that just kind of for your buddies when you come?
Yeah. Just usually when they come make a knife, or they just, had a couple guys reach out. I'd posted some of those pictures on social media where I was doing a class, and they're like, hey, man, I want to come. When can I come? Just come on.
Yeah.
So let me know. Range is always open.
And then check out on Amazon, Audible, and then I think iBooks has it as well. Kindle too. Sir. And then Death Waits in the Dark.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
Heck yeah. Man, I appreciate you coming on,
Charlie,
brother.
it's been an honor, brother. It really has. Thank you so much.
You bet.
Bringing me here. Get to chat with you for a bit.
I know it. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. I love what you're doing, and man, I'm just great that I'm so honored that you're going to come and speak.
Oh, man, I'm pumped.
So looking forward to it.
We're on a crusade.
I love it.
We got to save them.
And together, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Thanks. Love you, brother.
Love you, man.